to sit in the hotel window. Let everybody take a look. It's nice, isn't it?
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, hopefully not there for a reenactment of the film The Bridge.
No, from this angle I am. I'm one of the producers. If you remember, everything was filmed from far away.
Yep, you're right. You're right. Well, welcome back, everybody.
Yes.
I do have to say that it is flattering.
Thank you.
The amount of people... You don't even know what I was going to say. You said thank you already.
Flattering. I thought you were going to compliment me.
No!
Oh.
I was going to say the amount of people that get upset when we take days off. You know, like I wouldn't... It's not a thing you should ever complain about, because the minute people are, like, not reactionary at all to you taking days off, you go, oh, this show makes no impact whatsoever on anybody's lives.
Yeah.
You know, I like that we go months with no days off, go through the entire pandemic, and then take, I mean, literally the show before the 4th of July weekend and after. Yeah, just not even a week, 2 days. And it's like, man, these guys are lazy. These guys are phoning it in. They're off more than they're on. It's like, I mean, I'm glad it feels that way, because it means that it hurts when we're gone.
If they don't notice, you're right. If they don't notice that you're ever off. But yeah, I love that. You guys are being lazy. What are you talking about? We literally take no days off. 2 days for a holiday that everyone takes. We didn't take time at the beginning of the summer. We normally would take a week off, or more than a week, but at the beginning and at the end. We didn't take any of that. I think we took one other day. It was a company holiday. Whatever the other last company holiday was, we took off.
We weren't on the air on Memorial Day proper.
Right.
On the actual Memorial Day, we weren't on the air.
Yeah.
But not like the week
vacation, though.
No, it was just Memorial Day itself.
Yeah.
Which I think is okay. But I was happy about it, you know. I mean, it's nice to know that we're making that kind of impact on people's lives, and I'm glad we could be back for everybody today.
Yeah, but I just love people who will accuse somebody of phoning it in. When it's like, what do you do at your job that's so dedicated? I love these fucking fake dedicated workers. Like, you're fucking phoning it, like right then, like they're at work an hour early doing it for free just because they love it. Like,
yeah.
What do you not need days off? Shut your face.
Yeah, I got a tweet that I was on because I saw Travis's, because, you know, I don't know if anybody realized, but I've been seeing a lot more of Travis's tweets lately. Because let's just say he pops up in a new column on my Twitter app. Old checkmark Teft. I don't know if we've acknowledged that, but all of a sudden, when I get the old app mention from the Teft dog, Twitter reaches out. They go, "Excuse me, Sam, a person of prominence is talking about you on Twitter." I go, "Who?" You know, I get excited because I only have my alerts set for verified mentions, and I get an alert to let me know somebody very important is talking about me. And my phone goes off, and I go, ooh, who's got my name on their lips? And then I find out that the Teft dog has made that category of very important people to talk about me. And I go, oh, well, I was hoping it was like a celebrity or like a wrestler.
The Rock.
Or like somebody, maybe The Rock is like, hey, Not Sam, why aren't you on the air? Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
You're lazy.
Then it was Travis. Yeah. Then it was Travis just responding to somebody's tweet. But I did enjoy the tweet because it was a theory that the vacations are scheduled around when subscribers are most likely to resubscribe, I think, was the theory.
No, the theory is that we have to take vacation when they offer free listening. So that, they're not paying for it.
Oh, I see. So technically, yeah, Sirius goes like, look, we pay you for live shows, not best ofs. Give these jamokes best ofs during free listenership period. Not, hey, the philosophy is we put the best stuff for free because once we've got you, we've got you. It's actually the opposite. We put the best ofs for free. The pre-recorded.
It is amazing how little people understand how things work at the company. Like it's so
like so confident in knowing how they do work.
Yeah, like
this is who does this.
This is who does that. And it's like, shut up. No one ever thought about that. Like, what do you think? I haven't talked to Jim McClure in 2 weeks. What do you think? We all get together and plot how to fuck the listeners?
And if you honestly ask Jim McClure, when was the last? If you ask Jim McClure today, when was the last time Jim and Sam were off? I would say 50-50. He wouldn't realize we were off yesterday. It's one of those things. Like, I don't know. They're off when they're off. They tell Travis they're off. He puts together a best of, and then they're off. And then they'll be back when they're back. I don't know. And then right before contract negotiation, they just get Travis to send them, hey, they didn't break their contract, did they? And then Travis goes, no. And they go, fuck. Then we got to negotiate in good faith. God damn it.
Yeah, it is funny how people expect you to take no time. No time off. Like, you guys are bums if you take a day or two.
Yeah.
I would love to take more time. There's just nothing to do. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to, like, why waste the days when there's just, like, nothing to, why take off?
What are you going to do?
Do what? Yeah, I slept late a couple days. I mean, it was fun, but I was kind of bored.
Yeah, 2 days off, accompanied by a 3-day weekend, of course. So a 5-day stretch with no shows.
Yeah.
I was like, we were off for a really long time. Like, when Monday rolled around, I was like, we're still off? Like, this has been forever.
Yeah, not waking up is nice. Like, Monday I still got to do UFC, so I got to get up for the gym. I get up at like 9, which is kind of nice, a couple extra hours. But then, like, once the show would have been over, I'm like, yeah, we could have just...
Could have just done it. It would have been fine. It would have been that big of a deal.
Would have been a big deal.
Yeah. No. You go to bed and you're like, I guess I could have done a show this morning. Like, it would have been okay. It wouldn't have changed my day all that much.
Yeah.
Did you...
we're kind of idiots to never tape in the afternoon. We've talked about, like, maybe once in a while we get like a West Coast guest, but we just don't do it. We're always live.
We could do a virtual West Coast trip.
I like that.
Yeah. And you just leave your you could throw up your backdrop, maybe put the Hollywood sign behind you.
Ooh.
And then people would go, oh man. Ooh. And maybe you could even do the old school version where it says Hollywood Land.
How long was that up for?
I don't know. I think it was torn down. It didn't say Hollywood Land all that long, but if you go back to look at the original photos, that big old mountainside said Hollywood Land. You could put up the Hollywood Land logo behind you. We could talk to the who's who. And then, secretly record in the afternoon.
Yeah,
but it would be okay, because it's like we're on West Coast time, because we're on the virtual West Coast.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
I think so. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a real treat for the listeners.
Well, we're phoning it in.
Did you have a good long weekend?
I didn't do a whole lot. I mean, a couple of videos I had to make and edit, and keeping busy doing that stuff. But no, I didn't do too much. To be really honest, I did not do a lot. I went to a hotel, kind of just fucking. I drove like 5 hours just to get out of town. And but I didn't do much. Like when everything's still kind of closed up, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I went home.
Were the hotels? Oh, really?
Yeah, they're empty, and it was kind of like okay. It was more just to get out of the town, and I was like, what am I doing? This is stupid.
Right. Like I'm just out of town for the sake of being out of town.
Yeah, like just for the sake of not. There we go. Even though you can't really see the entire side, I like that. It does give me the illusion, even though it's in black and white. It doesn't matter.
It's old school though, because of course, like that back then, it was black and white outside.
You're right.
Haven't you ever seen? Yeah, I mean Pleasantville. That's what it's like.
So yeah, I didn't do a whole lot. Did you go anywhere?
No, I didn't go anywhere. I mean, I took a day on Thursday. I drove out to Long Island and went to some like retro toy and collectible stores, which took most of the afternoon. That was a big trip.
To buy what? What'd you buy?
Wrestling stuff. Just to look. I mean, you hear about all this stuff, and it's like we had the day, so I was like, okay. I went and did. I was in Stamford in the morning doing WWE stuff, and then in the afternoon, I just drove out to Long Island and hit all these stops, looking for collectible stuff and deals, and just seeing what they had and everything. And then, Saturday was 4th of July. It's so funny with 4th of July because a lot more people obviously were at home. I mean, they weren't going out to like bringing their families out to firework.
Right.
shows because there weren't any official fireworks shows. There were more fireworks than ever, but there weren't any official shows. Like, we went over to my parents' house in the afternoon. I mean, the kids are in bed anyway before fireworks would start. But we went over to my parents' house in the afternoon, and I lit off, quote unquote. I put Mentos in Diet Coke to make the explosions. So there was just something showy for 4th of July. Because they make the, you've seen the Mentos and Diet Coke experiments on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they drop it in. So, like, they make these things now that are cylinders, and it fits, like, you could fit, like, 6 Mentos in there, and then there's different caps that you screw on. So one is like a funnel. It's almost like different sprinkler caps. Like, one is a funnel, one shoots in different directions. Like, they just all do different things. So you put them on top of the Diet Coke bottle, and then you pull the cord, and the Mentos come out, and then the soda goes up in the air. So I did that, and then I went home, and I mean, it's just so funny because, like, you heard fireworks kind of all night, and I didn't mind. I thought it was like, I kept looking out the window seeing if I could see any, and I couldn't. I saw there was like an aerial shot in LA, and at one point, I mean, it was like, it looked from the sky like every 50 feet, there was another fireworks display. It was just all over the place, which looked amazing to me. But it was funny that because so many people stayed home and weren't looking at the fireworks, they were just hearing the fireworks go off. Everybody kind of turned into old ladies. So many people this year complaining about the amount of fireworks. When are the police going to do something about this? This is crazy. And it's like, it's only because you're at home. Like, this is what this happens every year. Except usually it's in an official capacity, not an unofficial capacity. Everybody turned into
but it always
Karen,
goes on, though. It always goes
fireworks.
It always goes on, like, way too late. Like, it's when it's supposed to stop, and then you're fine. And then an hour later, you just hear them going off right outside. And you're like, this is not part of what the city's doing. This is just 3 guys where they're throwing something into a fucking garbage can. Yeah, you get used to it on 4th of July, but it is a little jarring, especially if you're old.
Yeah. Everybody turns into complainers. I liked it. And I always like, when there are kids lighting off fireworks on the 4th of July, I'm like, yeah, there's some semblance of normalcy. It's not normal that the amount of people that were complaining about fireworks. And then you look at your, like, Ring app, if you got one of the video doorbells, they connect people within the community. And I swear, are there gunshots going off? Are there gunshots going off? You're like, no, there's not gunshots going off. We're not going into a war zone. It's the 4th of July, and there's fireworks going off, except you're at home. And they did extend. Like, I mean, there's probably fireworks going off from, like, starting at 8 and going until midnight, just throughout the evening. It was just like, pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. But, I don't know. I was like, cool. I don't care if they go on all night.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get used to it, especially around and by the way, New York did pretty fucking well. With the whole, with new cases, New York did fucking great around the 4th of July. It stayed the same. It's really, New York is doing better than almost any place, in the country.
Yeah, well, we don't know what happened on the 4th of July.
I mean, as far as cases are concerned, yeah.
On the 4th of July, cases didn't go up, but that doesn't, I mean, the cases from the 4th of July would be in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I'm saying the 4th and the 5th. Yeah, that's true, in 2 weeks. But they've stayed, New York has stayed really kind of steady and low. It's good news for New York, but it doesn't matter. The whole country's in the fucking toilet. Who cares?
Well, yeah, the trick is to start very, very high and to shift expectations. So, like, if you just have you start with astronomical numbers. It's like when you're in school, right? And you start the year getting like a 14% on tests. And the teachers are like, what? Like, I didn't even know it was possible to have a test score this bad, 14%. So then by like halfway through the year when you're getting C's, it seems like you're a genius all of a sudden. That's like what New York did. Like, they got these astronomically terrible results for this thing. And then now it's like the result, as long as it's not astronomically bad, it's like, we're doing great. We're doing so much better than we were.
Well, that's why Texas and Florida are so awesome, because they started off like a team having a great April. Like, they started off doing so well. You're like, fuck, they're doing great. And then all of a sudden, a couple of injuries, The pitching staff is decimated, and they just completely collapse and they fall into the basement. It was so aggravating just looking at people not giving a fuck. But then again, it's in London too. It's everywhere. It's not just Americans. It's just people who have been cooped up who are just like, fuck it. And I'm almost like, they say the White House is getting ready to say, just, we're going to have to live with it. Which is, I've never heard of a better example of throwing in the towel than saying that. But we may just have to, it just may be the way we do it. We may just have to fucking just take it and everybody gets sick. I mean, there's no other real way.
It seems like you're following these totals more than I am. Are other countries, though, doing pretty good? Like, Italy's doing, like, so much better. Like, it was like... There was a period of time where people were like, Italy may cease to exist as a country. I mean, Italy doesn't.
Yeah, London was allowed to go out. That's why they all went crazy. They were allowed to.
I'm just saying, people, it's still not social distance. I mean, whenever people are allowed to do it, they seem to.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Because it is a political thing, whether or not you get the coronavirus.
That's true.
When people get together, it seems like they do. People miss being around each other. They miss going to bars, and when you're drinking, you're not thinking logically. So maybe Italy is probably doing better. I haven't followed the world. I'm just being U.S. centric. I don't really give a fuck about the rest of the planet. I don't care if they're all winning or dying. Yeah, yeah. The whole place is fucking. It's not falling apart. These things happen. And it always feels like the country's falling apart, and it never is. But whatever's happening, there are huge changes happening.
This is fairly unprecedented.
Things in the 60s were pretty bad, too. I mean, pretty fucking bad. Political leaders being assassinated, fucking Martin Luther King assassinated. And that was a decade of unrest, or 8 years of it or whatever. Fucking Malcolm X. I mean, both Kennedys. There was a lot of fucking violent shit with civil rights in the 60s. So I think it was even worse then.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think it's ever. I have no idea. I wasn't around in the '60s, but I just don't have the mentality. I never think we're living in the worst times. Like,
no,
but it is. It's just we've never had anything like this before. I think this is foundation shaking in a way that we haven't had before. Whereas it was like that era, people's safety. It was like, oh my God, like these people that we would put on a pedestal, they're being taken down and they're mortal, and like, the mortality was sort of pushed in everybody's face. And now it's like, we were living 4 months ago in this kind of haze of like this. We don't get pandemics anymore in America. What? And now it's like, no, we definitely still get pandemics in America. Definitely do.
And the Supreme Court, like, I love the fact that the Supreme Court has been so unpredictable. Like they're supposed to be this conservative court, and they do something they do like really liberal shit. They defend LGBT rights. I think in the workplace they had this thing with abortion. I forget what state it was in. I probably should be more prepared. But it was Louisiana where they took that, where they said doctors had to be able to admit you within a 50-mile radius or 30-mile radius or something. They struck that down. But then they do some other thing for religious liberty, which is conservative. I love that they're unpredictable. I love when you can't tell what they're going to do. That's every fucking case should be decided. You have no idea what they're going to do until they actually make the decision. Because when you know going in,
you mean because
can actually weigh the facts.
The case?
People are like, the court is, that's what the court's supposed to do. When you know exactly how, Clarence Thomas, you know how he's going to vote. Like, you kind of know which way fucking Kagan is, whatever, Sotomayor is going to go. But I love when you don't really know which way they're going to go. I think that's kind of the way it should be decided. You shouldn't know going in.
That is wild that you pick your judges based on how they will find the case. Like, theoretically, a judge shouldn't have any political party, right? They should just be able to judge. They should just look at a case and go like, well, my party is what the law of the land is. My political leaning is justice. But yeah, you do. You pick a judge based on where you think they're going to find in cases that don't even exist yet. You're going like, well, should this case come up, they'll probably find for this side. And you're like, it's not even a real case. How can you know?
I love when they cross, like, I guess they would say, well, our job is to interpret or to defend the Constitution, and they do it more conservatively, and they have a more liberal slant. But I love when they cross sides, like when it's a 5-4, and the one they expected to vote conservative votes liberal, or vice versa. Like, I love when they cross what you think they're going to do. It's just so.
I think Kavanaugh did that in the first one.
Yes, he did. What was that?
With
was that
LGBT rights in the workplace, Kavanaugh sided with the liberals. And then I think Roberts sided.
Gorsuch did too.
Yeah, in Louisiana. Just based on precedent, though, I don't think he did it because he agreed.
What difference does it make who's in charge?
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Now, the more they're changing.
That's actually true. Yeah.
You're right. It was. I don't think he. I love that he didn't agree and he still did it. Good.
Do you think?
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Do you think once Kavanaugh was sworn in, the other judges pulled him into the room and said, "Kavanaugh, come here for a second. Come here. You know that's not what a devil's triangle is, right? You know that's not what that is. You can't." He's like, "What? You guys want to play devil's triangle? No, that's not. It's not quarters. You know."
Yeah.
Huh?
That. Yeah.
I hope that he was just misinformed about drinking games. Like he was just kind of a nerd, and somebody told him, "Yeah, this is a devil's triangle," just to get him to say it. You know what I mean? Like just that they were just, and when he was in college, they were just trying to get him to say humiliating things. So they gave him the wrong definitions, and he was living his life thinking the devil's triangle is just a quarters drinking game,
or he may have been fibbing.
He could have been fibbing.
He may have been fibbing.
He could have been fibbing. He could have been. I've always known it as a hot dog threesome, but
yeah,
but he could have been fibbing.
Yeah,
but the more I think about it, the more I love the idea of him just like, huh? Well, that's what that is.
Yeah, he seems like he knows. He's very well versed because he kept saying like, "I like drinking beer. I like drinking beer. I like beer. I like having beer." He kept saying how much he likes beer. I like beer.
He likes to drink beer.
So I think he's aware. And don't tell me he hasn't, he hasn't high-fived a buddy with his dick stuffed in somebody before. And hey, well, more power to you. I mean, that's what you do in college. You fucking go out and you get loaded and you jam your dick in somebody and they pop it out and they look up at you and they wave. I mean, that's what he was doing. Good for Brett.
You ever hear the Eiffel Tower? Oh, another drinking game. Yep. You ever Dutch oven a chick? What's Dutch oven? Drinking game.
Drinking game.
Yeah, lots of drinking games.
Drinking Dutch beer.
At the same time, a person who keeps talking about drinking beers, like that could be somebody who just likes drinking beers, but that could also be somebody, that's a thing that people would say who wanted to sound cool. I like to drink beer. You know, there is always that possibility that that's who he is too, that he's not, that everything that was described of him maybe is not true. Maybe he is this guy that was just trying to get the jocks to think he was cool. And so he kept telling him how much he likes to drink beer. And then they told him this is what a devil's triangle is because they wanted him to go to class the next day and be like, yeah, I had a devil's triangle last night.
Yeah, he seems like, he seems like he was being very defiant saying that. Like he was just fucking annoyed that they were asking him.
About drinking beers?
Yeah, he was just irritated that they were asking, I think.
Yeah, so what? He likes to pop a couple Steve Weisers. Who's counting?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he was saying. Yeah, fuck you. I like beer. What?
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. Popping Mentos, listening to people complain about fireworks, and yeah, just doing the thing. That was my and running around with kids for a while. That was my weekend.
So Mary Trump's book. I mean, there's a lot happened. Mary Trump's book now is coming out 2 weeks early. Like the brother, it was smart to have the brother doing it. So Trump didn't have to be bothered with it. But they I guess lost. They both attempts got struck down. Once because it was in the wrong court, and I guess the other because it just wasn't going to work. And now it's coming out 2 weweeks early. Bolton's book.
Darn.
Yeah, I mean, I'll read them. I'll read them both.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because they're from people who know the president. Of course, they're slanted, but I mean, they at least know the president. If you're going to read something, at least, his niece, how accurate will it be? I don't know. It might not be. It might be a lot of bullshit thrown in there, but he is as litigious as he can be. I think you'd have to be able to have stuff vetted properly because I'm sure some should knew that this was going to be challenged in court. So if there's anything lawsuitable in there, I'm sure that they vetted it.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Or you're probably right. You brought up the insurance before. I'm sure they got a nice giant insurance deductible or whatever it is to make sure just in case. Because regardless of what it is, somebody's going to try to sue somebody over it.
Yeah, you have to have insurance, and lawyers vet books. They go over it, and anything they have to fact check, they fact check. If especially if they think it's going to get the fucking publishing company sued, they go over it and they make sure that it's that it's okay.
You almost wonder
this book was vetted.
You almost wonder why they even tried to stop it. Because, I didn't think they would stop it. I think most people probably didn't think they would stop it. They might slow it down. Unfortunately, they didn't even slow it down. It's actually sped up by 2 weeks. But
yeah,
it almost becomes a commercial for the thing, right? Like when it becomes a news story that there was an NDA and you're not supposed to hear this and they don't want you to hear this. Now it's a commercial, and now, people want to go get the book more.
Yeah, but there's really no way around that. You kind of have to try to stop it because sometimes this legal shit works, like where they actually will find reason to stop the book. First of all, I don't even know how she's allowed to do it. Like, if she signed an NDA, how is she allowed to write a book? Like, you chose to sign that and take money 20 years ago. How are you all of a sudden allowed to? I don't know what, is it because he's the president? Like, I don't understand how she's allowed to. I don't know what law.
Being the president and even running for president, the rights are all wonky. You can print T-shirts and make foam fingers and do whatever you want. They're public figures. They don't get any cash for their likeness or anything. So maybe there's something that once you become the president, you can't. Your expectation of privacy, even if you have an NDA, is not the same. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. I guess you lose certain things once you have that much power. And I'm reading too that former Melania, one of Melania's friends, is writing an explosive tell-all. And it's like, do they have such what a shitty people to have in your life? Like, especially if you're Melania and this is your friend writing an explosive tell-all. Like, is it really an explosive tell-all, or is it just going to reveal a few little annoying tidbits that we didn't know?
It's like when what's-her-face did the Nicole Brown Simpson book. And let everybody know what was the street that they lived on? At Brentwood, hello? They said that Nicole Brown Simpson liked to give blowjobs and all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's always the friend that wants to jump on. Sometimes it's they're getting manipulated by these book publishers because they're idiots. And other times they really are just manipulative people. But
trying to make some money.
It wouldn't shock me that Trump and Melania have hung out with some nefarious types over the years. Like that is the type of world where you enter into business with some shitty people.
That's the case. Like, that's why whenever they're putting up pictures of whether it's Ghislaine Maxwell with Clinton or with Trump, like, and any of these guys meet a million people, take a million photos, you're at parties, you have conversation, like it's just a part of that life. That, to me, those are not indictments of anybody. When you have, just a photo of Trump and Melania with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, all right, who the fuck? They could have been at a fundraiser or some dumb party. Who the fuck cares? But they act like that's some ominous, like they're walking out of a sex dungeon. They act like every time there's a picture of a person who's got, when you're that powerful, you have a lot of shitty friends. Like, even when they had Obama for his preacher, whose name I forget. Do you remember? Was it Jeremiah something?
I know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they went after him because he had said anti-white. I'm like, who cares? I don't care who your friends were coming up. There's probably a million of them that were not, that don't hold up to scrutiny in political life. It's the way it is. How many of us have friends that would hold up to being the perfect friends we'd want to be associated with? I mean, don't be stupid.
The day will come. Your break is coming, especially with this chip stuff. It's going to go huge. You're going to go through the roof. And then a reporter one day is going to come to you, and they're going to say, could you please explain your relationship with Rich Voss? And that's going to be tough for you to survive. That's going to be really tough.
But they'll say that to Chip because they'll see them as intellectual equals.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, they will. They'll probably ask Chip how he feels about Voss. But well, that's the beauty. People in political life have to deal with this more than anybody. Nobody cares if you're an entertainer, but once you're elected to something, people all of a sudden will use that because it's not like a real sincere thing. Everybody understands we all have, none of our friends have a perfect friends list, but they do that just to try to fuck them. Like, I can fuck you with this.
Gotcha.
Like, really? But they do it to each other, and it's like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, like is it just an agreement where okay, you'll make me the news story of today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna put out who your shitty friend is, and you'll be the news story of tomorrow. Why don't we just skip this step?
Yeah. So I know that stuff never bothers me unless it's something like that's so fucking shady.
Right.
But normally it's not. Half those photos of people people just take. It's like Prince Andrew when he took that photo with Virginia Guffey, I think her name is. Now, obviously, there was probably something going on, but him in that interview, I've never seen a worse answer.
Yeah, that's when the explanation comes in.
You take a million photos.
When the explanation for the photo comes in, that's when the photo starts to mean more. When you're sitting there going like, that could be somebody else's hand, but my body. You're like, wait, what are you trying? So you really are trying to hide the fact that this, I don't know if that's even a real photo, huh?
I take very few photographs. Stupid asshole. You don't, first of all, you probably do take a good amount of photographs. You don't remember all the ones you take. Like, that's what it's funny when it's handled so poorly. When somebody explains a photo, which is very innocuous, just a picture of two people, and he's one of the biggest, he's a VIP. I get why people want a photo with him. It's not crazy for him to take a photo, but he handled it so terribly. The explanation. I only take 2 photographs a year. That was not me. It is you.
Yeah. I take so few photos that every photo of me holds a great significance. So you're like, wait. No, that's the opposite tact you should be taking. Many photos, which means I don't even know what that photo is. If you only take 2, then that one should have a story behind it.
Yeah, or you were dancing at the club with this girl. I
don't dance because I can't sweat. I don't have the ability to sweat.
A terrible explanation. Like, you're the prince. You go out. Everyone knows he goes out. He gets fucked up. Like, he likes to party. Like, that's just what he does. He's had that reputation for a long time. You're at the club. You dance with somebody. What are you supposed to remember? Something you did 10 years ago? You might not remember. That doesn't sound as good to go like, yeah, maybe. I don't remember. Maybe I danced with her. That doesn't sound as good, but that's how it is if you're out and you're that famous and you're always in different places with different people. I don't perspire. I was coated in wax as a boy. What a terrible explanation.
See, Prince Andrew is the one person who I am certain did not kill Epstein because everybody already thinks he's guilty anyway. Like, there's nothing to protect him from anymore. Nothing. All he has to do is open his mouth and he'll give out all the details anyway. He's the of everybody on the potential list. I think there is more of a chance that Epstein killed himself than that Prince Andrew killed Epstein, and I think there is 0 chance that Epstein killed himself. So that's how unlikely I think it is that Prince Andrew had anything to do with it. But
I'm, by the way, more convinced that Epstein killed himself than ever. He absolutely killed himself.
Well, maybe you're in the Hollywood
100%
elite.
Certainty.
Maybe
100%.
Well, maybe this Tournament of Laughter thing has opened some doors for you, and you've talked to some people, and maybe they want a certain narrative pushed on the radio. I get it. I'm for it. I'm happy for your success.
And I think that they were working with her long before they arrested her. And I have a feeling that
Ghislaine?
I think that Epstein realized that she had fucked him somehow, screwed him over by having him come back to the States. And I think he realized if they have her, I'm finished. And I think that's why he. So
what took it? So how come she's been hanging for a year?
My guess would be that. Well, they're getting information. That's my guess, is that they're getting information for a year, and that they were building cases against people.
Oh my God.
That's my thought. And she will go to jail, but I guarantee you she cuts the deal. She's not going to jail for 20 years for somebody.
She better be locked up tight. Because Epstein thought he was locked up tight, and then he, unfortunately, was able to have suicide committed to him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, bro, Ghislaine on Thursday, I guess.
Thursday morning.
And this is the one where it's like, I mean, she was the bookkeeper. She knows everything. She's not even, I mean, at least with Epstein, you had a guy who was part of the lifestyle. So maybe some stuff got by him. He was really more into getting things done himself. So, maybe he didn't know every single detail that was going on. I mean, Ghislaine knows all the details. And
because she knows stuff that was happening that wasn't connected to him. Like if she had access to all of these girls, don't tell me that somebody wouldn't call her and go, hey, do you think you could help me meet up with, or whatever, when disconnected from Epstein. So yeah, there's, she knows everything. I don't believe there's videotapes. I know that sounds naive, but for some reason I just don't. It's just being thrown around too much. There's tapes, maybe not, but I have a feeling that she was giving information.
They were probably destroyed. Once this thing, I think at some point, I don't know if there were tapes of the actual actions happening. I think I definitely think that there's video of people at least around. Like enough video to be like, hey, you were at this party, you were here, you were there. I don't know if there's videotapes of the, in the massage rooms. I don't know if they would go that far because that's a crime. And, not to say they were shying away from any crimes, of course. I'm not being naive.
Yeah.
Just to add another level of crime by recording it, as much as they can use it for blackmail, it also could fuck them over real quickly. So I think that there's probably video of people at the parties, and there's probably a lot of, or at least there's probably a lot of documentation as to who was there and who was hobnobbing with who and everything. But
yeah, cameras hidden everywhere. I remember in the documentary, he had them in like tiny little places.
That's what they say, yeah.
Teddy bear cams, VCR cams, and spy cams everywhere.
And by the way, I don't think he would care about the legality. I don't think he would care about the legality of filming in a massage room as much as the blackmail material he would get from having those cameras. I think the value of them would outweigh the risk that one of those guys was going to run to the police and tell. So I don't think it's beneath him to do that. I think that he would have done that, but I just don't think that I don't know. It's something that they just keep fucking talking about it for some reason. And the fact that, Ghislaine has tapes on the thumbnail. It's almost like they're saying that to frighten these people who they've been getting. That's just my theory. I could be totally wrong. I mean, it's just
I'm sure a lot of people are scared from that, though.
Oh my God, yeah, especially if they think that she might have been cooperating for a while. That's the theory I've heard. That he was that he took her out of his will a couple days before he killed himself because he knew she fucked him over. But it's been speculated that she's the reason he even came back to the States was because she convinced him to.
Lots of speculation. Did you see Eric Trump tweeted a photo of Ghislaine at the Clintons' wedding and then had to delete it right away because he didn't realize that if that's your evidence, there's also, I mean, people could literally say the same thing about his dad and his stepmom.
Yeah, and that to me is that line of thinking. It's like, come on, man, your dad's the president. That people meet people at parties and all, like that stuff is not at all incriminating. And again, if the two of you are on that private island, all right. But if you're at a fucking party, I mean, Trump, Clinton, who cares?
Right. It still doesn't look good though, right? I mean, do you ever see the Epstein plane flight logs? Have you seen the people that are on there? Like Gwen Stefani and like Beyonce, they probably didn't do anything, but it's just that association that be on his plane just really doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not
some
good.
Can you imagine how pissed you'd be if you were one of those celebrities, like if you're Beyonce or you're Gwen Stefani, and you're really on there because you're millionaire agent or man, or you're high-powered person that you're hanging with. No, this will be good, and you realize that he's brought you. You realize what he's brought you on. You're like, what the? I don't want to be here, man. You said we were all just hanging out on this island. You didn't tell me all this stuff was. Oh, don't worry about those girls. They just give massages. Where did you bring me?
Well, you wonder
on the flight log.
You wonder if they even knew until all this stuff years later happened. Like they may have just taken. I don't know how private planes are dealt with celebrities. I don't know how they do it, but I mean, like a lot of times, really famous people are just like someone will loan a private plane, and you may not even know whose fucking plane it is. Like you said, it might be your agent or your publicist or somebody who they like. Yeah, okay, we could use this plane, and they just get on it and take the flight and have no idea until 5 years later that they were on that person's plane.
There's probably levels to the Epstein parties too.
Like, like a level 1 doesn't really know what's going on. A level 2 knows there's something fishy. A level 3 is when you start getting deeper. And then, a level 5 are the people that were actually doing stuff. So they're probably level 1 Epstein party guests that never realized exactly what was happening, that are just turning on the news going, oh, no. Oh, no, I was there. No.
It also gives a little bit of credence to these people, a lot of conspiracy theorists who are saying that there was these high-powered pedophile rings and things like that did just sound like conspiracy theory, but I mean, there was definitely something to it because these are very high-powered people. And again, I'm not saying Clinton and Trump, but there was enough people who have a tremendous amount of influence who are obviously connected to this somehow. And there's enough people that probably did stuff knowing what they were doing. It's like, it is, so it's kind of hard just to write it off as paranoia at this point.
Alan Dershowitz had a tough weekend.
Dershowitz, though, here's the thing with Dershowitz. He's obviously a lawyer. He's 81. He may have some shit to hide. He's saying he doesn't, of course. Mm-hmm. And as a lawyer, he knows exactly what he can say and what he can't say. Like, he's not going to make stupid mistakes. Doesn't mean he can't go to jail, but he knows enough about what he can say and what he can't say. Why did he have a tough weekend? I didn't. I followed this, but not that closely.
He put out a editorial for one of the websites or whatever. He wrote an article about how this is going to be a tough case for anybody to win, and we have to presume innocence here. And it's like,
on her,
I think, and I think the prevailing theory was that most people do not want to presume innocence based on the overwhelming evidence that has been presented in the court of public opinion, and also the fact that he's attached to it. You don't want to be the one guy. Even if you are a lawyer, if you're a guy who is attached to the story in some way, shape, or form, and you're also the one person going like, hey, whoa, let's be a little defensive here. That's when it started. People feed back on that.
Well, he also defended Epstein, though. Like as an attorney, he worked for him. So again, he's thinking like a lawyer. No matter what he says, again about he's right. You got to presume innocence. Again, as much as it doesn't look good, but I've heard that she might not be able to be prosecuted even because that deal Epstein cut, that fucking crazy thing where it's like no co-conspirators. That might cover her for a lot of stuff. And then if you're dealing with something 20-something years old and it's just the testimony, that it might be difficult to convict her. It might be harder than people think it's going to be.
Look, if she gets away with it, she better turn on her IG Live or something. I mean, whatever Tekashi did to keep himself alive, Ghislaine's going to have to do the same thing because there's going to be a lot of people who want that woman silenced.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. But then again, if she shuts up and beats it, the people will be fine.
Theoretically, unless they come up with something else and bring her back in. I don't think you need that information walking around when we've gotten so close. So you think Epstein killed himself? Do you think Jizzy will survive this? Do you think that she'll make it?
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah, she will because again, I think that she'll do what she has to do to stay out of jail. You don't come up in that type of life. She's had a life where everything she was rich her whole fucking life. Private planes, hanging out with presidents and ex-presidents. You don't all of a sudden go from that to the Brooklyn House of Detention and sit on that information.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain how she keeps herself alive.
You're saying, I'm thinking making it legally. Yeah.
No. I mean, just breathing, just getting some air in her lungs.
Yeah, I think that she'll be fine. I don't think.
Do you think she takes anybody down with her?
Yeah.
Oh,
do you think we hear the big names?
I don't know. I don't know how many big names there are, or if it's just people's wishful thinking. I really don't know. But I think that she'll do what she needs to do to have a minimum jail sentence.
But it is, look, if you want to start dipping your toes into that conspiracy water, there is something to this idea. They say that alien information is not shared with people because, religion is so important, not only in this country, but in the whole world, that if you really shared how much alien stuff was out there, it would shake religion to the core. And this foundation that we have for so many people, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. They would be utter chaos. So I think Troy brings up an interesting point where it's like, okay, if she gets away with it, you know what I mean? Like to some extent, like you're saying, Jim, where she doesn't spend the rest of her life in jail and
right.
this, then she would have to bring people down. She would have to give names. She would have to give information, which means that information would have to become public because those people would have to be punished. So if this is as wide-reaching as people think it could be, are we prepared for the amount of people that could be on that list and what they're being accused of? I mean, it's not like it's just Prince Andrew, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how big the list is or how many of them are household names. Like, I don't know how many of them are actually, I think a lot of them might be powerful people that aren't household names that but they're not names that everybody knows. They're just people who are like, oh, that guy who did that. Oh, okay, a guy who did that. A financer. Like, people like that. Or, oh, this guy was a senator from where? Like, it might be that type stuff. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't even know if they can, if she's protected by the 2008 deal, there might not be much they technically can get her on. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings enough.
Or if they got Epstein on it, even though he made the deal, like they got him on something that was enough for him to have suicide committed to him. If they got him, then they have to be able to have stuff that they can get her on, right? It's not like she stopped and he kept going.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about that. I don't know. I don't even know what they had on him, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know how much information they had. Maybe he just knew he was going to prison and he wasn't going to get out. That's what I think happened. And I'm really annoyed that I wavered from that even for a moment.
Should we take bets?
What's that?
Okay,
Would I take bets?
Under?
Sure. On her?
Over under.
Does she die in jail?
No.
I don't know if she, I believe that, Ghislaine is not long for this earth, I don't think.
Okay. We should take bets. So then how does she go? Does it suicide or is it corona?
Okay, so I made a list, actually, of
just in case this came up, huh?
Yes, I did. Where was it? Because I also talked about this on YouTube. I think I wrote it down, maybe it was on my iPad or something, but I had 5 ways that she could go that I thought of. And corona's the easy one.
Yep.
Corona's the super easy one. If you hear about Ghislaine getting corona,
that's it.
Might as well, start making the flower arrangements now. She is not making it past the 2 weeks. It is complications are on the horizon. So
suicide's
an easy one. I think that there's a high probability for a transportation accident. She's being moved. I don't know if she's been moved to New York yet, but she's being moved.
I think
Has, okay.
Yeah.
So she's already moved from New Hampshire to New York. Could a car get hit? Could a plane go down? It could happen, right? It could happen.
There's a
possibility of a transportation accident. I think food is an easy one. Choking on something. I wouldn't go so far as poisoning because that might be a little obvious. But
yeah, who is she?
Even George W. Bush choked on a pretzel, right?
Or she can get shanked by another prisoner. Another prisoner could shank her.
That's what theoretically could have happened to Epstein, right? No, the prison thing I don't think you can do because she's supposed to be locked up. Like, people are supposed to be aware that that's a possibility in prison.
Yeah.
If she got prison murdered, then the first question would be, well, how the hell was she just walking around in Gen Pop?
Yeah.
And then mysterious disappearance is the other one that she makes a deal. And then she just mysteriously disappears, and people go, "I'm sure she's fine." Like the minute that she gets out of jail, I'm sure she's living in Europe somewhere. But in reality, she is not. She's not in this dimension anymore.
If she was going to be killed, the people that could track her down, why not just kill her before you arrest her? It doesn't make sense to allow her to be arrested and handed over to the police. It makes no sense. It's crazy. Why not just kill her while she's out? I mean, if that was the way to go, if there was people trying to get her and they're powerful enough to manipulate the inner workings of a prison in Manhattan or in Brooklyn, why not just do it when she's out?
It might be 2 different people too. the people arresting.
Oh yeah,
and then she's put into a jail, and then there's going to be people who are like, not the people that got her, but other people that are like, we want her dead.
Yeah, that also could be that tape rumor too. That tape rumor, because they want to make sure she's kept okay. That if there's tapes, that's why J. Edgar Hoover, everybody just kind of tolerated, because they said he had information and nobody knew where he kept it. So if he was killed, then God forbid the wrong person gets that information. It's all out. It was almost like he was a prick, but you knew he was the one sitting on it and he knew where all the stuff was.
Right. We don't know if she hasn't been arrested. We don't know what she's told yet.
Or if she's killed. You don't know who has that stuff. If she's killed, if there's a thumb drive, no one knows. If she's killed, someone else could have that and give it over.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that they're all possibilities, but I do feel like some kind of, and you sit there and you go, well, they wouldn't do this one because it would be too obvious after Epstein. But that's what you said about Epstein, right? But that's what you said about Epstein.
Like too,
But the Epstein one was too obvious too. Like when this happened to Epstein, I mean, there was this collective like, really, like everybody. You didn't have to be the grandest conspiracy theorist to go, come on. So even that, I'm not ruling out. It feels too obvious, but I'm not ruling it out. I think Corona's probably the safest one, but Corona also, you have to do it over the course of days, because she has to be alive at some point with Corona, and then
you put her on a ventilator. You have to go that route. You're like, we're trying to save her. We're trying to save her.
Yep.
That gets really complicated. You can't just kill her and be like, oh, she had Corona, now she's dead. Like, you can't. That's tough. That's tough. How long, Troy, do you think?
That's a great question. I'm going to say, well, she's supposed to be in court Friday, right? So if we're kind of looking at the Epstein, because Epstein went into court first, right? And then there was like a month or two period where he was alive, and I guess he was waiting for another court date.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with 2 months. 2 months, and I'm going with Corona.
2 months and Corona. But all the information she could give, Troy. In 2 months, the amount of information she could give, what would be the use at that point? I mean, yes, she couldn't testify, but she could burn a lot of people in 2 months.
You could say the same thing about Epstein, though. I mean, it's tough if all you're doing is giving information, when your eyewitness is dead, it becomes tough to bring people up. Did you just get nervous?
No, I had a technical bump.
Oh, I see.
Technical glitch. It was rumblings from a problem with the wires. Yeah, but also
I thought there was a ghost in the machine.
They don't necessarily 100%. I mean, it helps very much to have these people, but I mean, I guess it helps to have their corroboration. But she'll be fine. She'll be fine if they can prosecute her. I have a feeling that she gives up most people, because again, you can't know. She's 58 years old. I think she wants to go to jail for 20 years or even 5 years. You might get her to take a 2 or 3 year sentence where she'll be out in a year. Maybe she's willing to do that. But mob guys don't do 20-year sentences. That's how Rico broke up the fucking mafia, because those guys were getting hit with 25-year sentences and they weren't willing to do that. Those guys testified because they weren't willing to do 25 years. And those guys were fucking hardened mobsters. This woman is not going to be willing to do 20 years for anybody.
No, I think she'll rat. If she gets there.
I love Prince Andrew, though, because he's like, oh, no, we called you guys. Like, I love that the FBI is asking him to cooperate. And he's like, we emailed them. Like, he's just saying anything. Yeah. Like, our lawyers tried. They won't get back to us. Fucking cut it out.
I think they don't have my new number
this weekend.
Yeah, and afraid to go to Spain. Yeah, because he knows that the U.S. might try. Like, that's like a Bobby Fischer. I think Japan arrested Bobby Fischer when he was there because the U.S. wanted him extradited. So I think that they're afraid other countries will detain him because the U.S. wants him. So he's not going to leave England.
I'm going to stay home, I think. I just stay in my house, yeah. No quarantine. I'm going to quarantine for the next 2 years. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, 2. I'm going to quarantine until I'm 87, and this whole thing is forgotten. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but he's probably super bummed out that he doesn't get to be in the castle while he's quarantining.
Yeah, where is he? Has he been, is he just in his house, or does he have I guess he has security.
I'm sure, he's got his own place. I'm sure it's a beautiful house and he's got security. It's just not a palace.
Yeah.
kind of a bummer. Is he still technically a prince?
Yeah. How many times they can take that? Did he get thrown out, though, or was he just relieved of duties? Official duties. Like Prince Philip retired from duties. The Queen will probably soon retire because she's so fucking old that she has the, someone's going to sneeze on her fucking purse and give her the fucking, give her the COVID. So I think the Queen will retire soon just for safety reasons. And then here's the problem. William and his fucking wife take over, King William, and people keep peppering him with this shit. He may eventually compel Andrew to talk to them because he's sick of hearing it.
Yeah. Plus, he's young and virile. He can compel people to do things.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're the new king, you may not want to deal with this. I don't know what their relationship is like. Charles is his brother, so Charles would be like, all right, he's my fucking brother. But the nephew may go, fuck you, pal. Talk to him. I don't know why I made him talk like he's from Brooklyn. Like, all of a sudden, now I made the king talk like he's fucking some Jersey idiot.
I like that. Hey, Prince Andrew, I'm walking here.
Hey, what are you doing over there? Talk to him, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching it. I'm very interested in this. I can't believe the saga continues. I swear I thought we were done. I thought the Epstein stuff was just going to kind of float into folklore. I can't believe it continues, but it does.
Well, I will say that everyone here on this radio program, except for me, said that it was going to die with Epstein. Everybody said that was the end. True. And the point I made, the astute point, was that these victims were in their 30s. These are people who they're not like 80 years old. I mean, they're angry. And because he's dead, he wasn't the only one. Like, it was almost like if he was the one guy, okay. But he was just one of the guys. Like, they're still mad at A, B, and C and all these other people who may or may not have been named yet. So,
Sam, what's your prediction?
Going.
I don't think it'll be COVID because I think that there's too many complications with that. I think that there's too many steps you have to take. And there's when you pull off an operation like this, it has to be quick and it has to be successful. If you screw this up in any way, shape, or form, if you give her a chance to talk, if you do, you can't. You can't. It has to be quick, successful, in and out. So I think it's gonna, and that's why I think it happened to Epstein in prison, because you've got control in prison. I think it'll be another. Prison thing. They might try to mask this one like somebody in a adjoining cell, like a prison murder. They might just go ahead and say this time, "Oh yeah, they pissed off so many people. A prison murder happened." I think you're looking at it before the end of the year, if I had to predict a time. And I think this one is prison murder as opposed to prison suicide. But they'll find somebody, like in Breaking Bad. You know, they find somebody that doesn't mind going to jail for Walter.
They get two twins to do it, or maybe a big magnet to pull her to the wall. A big magnet will destroy the thumb drive evidence.
That's a different scene. I'm talking about when Jimmy McGill finds his friend who doesn't mind going to jail for people.
Oh, right. Yes, because those guys exist. Sure. We've all heard about the guys that go to jail for you. Yes.
Yes.
That was very realistic.
They'll find somebody in jail who's already serving a life sentence that'll take the rap, and that'll be how they get her. I think.
The tapes work in the jail. Are the cameras working?
No. Yes. The cameras will be working. Yes, because they will be. Yes.
They'll make sure of it.
This person, however, the murderer will immediately go into solitary confinement. The murderer, he'll be punished right away before he has the chance to talk to anybody. He'll be right into... She, of course, because it's a ladies' prison. Yeah, the lady will go right into solitary confinement, not to talk to anybody, maybe even a crazy person, mentally ill. Could be a mentally ill person that was in jail and, yes, I believe it will be caught on camera this time because this one is exactly as it's reported. There's no funny business going on here with this one.
Here's what's going to happen. And you guys are all wrong. Here's what's going to happen. They may not be able to prosecute her, but she's going to cooperate because she's looking at a few years if she gets convicted.
Yes.
And there may be enough there to convict her. She might be nervous. So the deal she'll probably cut will be minimal time in jail. I think she might have to go, or home confinement. They'll say because of her age, a 2-year home confinement or something like that. And total cooperation. They said Manhattan's, what they normally do is they make you tell every bit of evidence you have on any crime. And anything she holds back would nullify the deal. So there's going to be some people who are going to be put in shit. There might be a high-profile suicide, but not like a Prince Andrew level. It's going to be like some financer or something like that. Maybe a financer offs himself who's in real trouble, and a few people go down. And they're going to be people that when you read what they do, you're like, oh, shit. But they're not going to be names that you recognize. I don't know about Dershowitz, but I mean, there's not going to be all these high-profile celebrities and politicians going down. I just don't think that's what
now, let me ask you
this. It's going to be a few financiers or people who are in on the way up on the college circuit for donations. But then there's all this speculation. Maybe the guy from Israel, but there's all this speculation like where did he get his money? Like I've heard people who are in finance say that really nobody knows exactly where his money came from. They speculated it was that guy Sandy Wexler, his name was, that they were having some kind of homosexual relationship that the guy didn't want outed. But I mean, even if that was true, you're not going to give hundreds of millions of dollars to a guy just because you sucked his dick.
They did say that one person said presidents of universities were frequented in these spots. Do you think that the reason there will be no celebrities outed or on the list, or like, the big politicians, the names that we know, do you think the reason they won't be outed is because they're innocent and not on the list? Or do you think it's because the more public figures need to be protected for the sanctity of the American psyche?
No, I don't think the American psyche means anything. The whole country's collapsing. They're throwing Columbus statues into the river. There's fucking, places are being taken over by protesters. The police have, killed unarmed people. Like, no, I don't think the fabric of the country in a scandal means anything.
That's different than an elite pedophile ring.
Okay, Troy brings up a good point too.
Yeah, but what's happening is even more destructive than an elite pedophile ring. I just don't think. I'm not saying those guys are too smart, but I think that guys on that level in politics, most of them are too smart to put themselves in those situations where they're in a room and they don't, like, their life is on guard. And I think that most of those guys are and I could be wrong, but I think most of those guys are probably too leery of anything that puts them in a room that's not a hotel, that's random, where they know somebody. You understand what I mean? I think a lot of those guys might be too gun shy or too paranoid to allow themselves to be put in that situation.
Do you? Well, maybe
just by paranoia.
Yes, no, I get that, but also at the same time, like Epstein didn't like photographs either, so he may have created a safe space where they felt safe because Epstein was so high profile. Maybe. Do you think we'll get an explanation as to that creepy picture where Harvey Weinstein is in a tuxedo with tails and Jeffrey Epstein is dressed like Officer and a Gentleman and Ghislaine Maxwell has that weird Eyes Wide Shut mask on? That picture of the trifecta of pedophile evil. Do you think we will get an explanation as to what the hell was going on that day?
Well, weren't they at Prince Andrew's, like some party? Wasn't that some weird party?
It was definitely a party
for his kid
they
or
were
for his
there
daughter.
For party. Yeah, I don't exactly know, but it was creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't. I just don't think there's going to be as many high profile people that like Americans that we recognize. I think it's going to, like you see, universities, maybe people who are. And look, I could be totally fucking wrong, but I also think people who are less on guard, the presidents of universities, I think, are less on guard all the time about getting caught out there than politicians are. Politicians are always aware that people want them compromised. And you think that most of those, again, not that they can't be stupid and caught up, but a lot of them may not be willing to put themselves in a situation where they could be taped in a circumstance that they can't control, doing something crazy. Whereas a head of a university or a financer might be less on guard.
They are definitely more savvy about being public.
And people's motives for putting them in certain situations.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah. And
some of them.
And
sure,
what happened?
Yeah. Well, look what happened to Sacha Baron Cohen, that guy saying the N-word all over the place.
But look at the level he was. He wasn't like some
low level.
Yeah, he's a level politician, but it's not like it's fucking Lindsey Graham jumping around with his fucking pants around his ankles.
Now you're talking about the politician. He placed a dildo in his mouth for that, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah, I mean, look, you do it. There's stupid people everywhere. People make mistakes, and I mean, if that's your proclivity, it will lead you to do stupid things.
Yeah, when your dick is involved, you make some dumb decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, or even if it's a Sacha Baron Cohen fake dick involved, you can make some dumb decisions to the point that you brought up moments ago.
That's true.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to discuss today.
Yes,
we're back. We're live. And
also,
don't forget.
I have to promote something.
No, I was going to say that I saw Chip was already upset.
Furious.
I guess he was not featured on this week's, on Sunday night's episode of the Tournament of Laughter. So we can only imagine that this coming Sunday, he'll be there and we'll get the results of voting from 2 weeks ago and then hopefully see Chip move to the second round.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of what Chip is hoping for. I know that he's been livid. His calls have not been returned, and he's taking to the streets to get things done. He's furious.
I mean, there's no reason to get things that that's just the way of course he's going to be on next week like all the other people that were on his show.
I don't know. Again, they don't give out that information. So all I know is I imagine he'll be on just to show the results.
Right.
But I don't know if there'll be any furtherance of him on there. I would hope so. I would hope there's more video for Lyle, but I don't know.
I would hope so too. It is a tournament of laughter, and he does supply the laughter.
I mean, big time, Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
And check out the Patreon. I've been doing those Zoom chats as Chip, and those are really fun. I gotta learn how to control Zoom because people just yap. And it's like fucking, it's literally like fucking, I have to learn how to silence people because they don't even mean to do it. You just hear people. There was a guy just making a jerk chicken order. Jerk chicken, like and he's not even being a dick. He's just talking. I'm like, what is this guy doing? I finally figured out.
I just
who it
like
was,
those people. They just don't respect Chip's authority.
They don't even. He didn't know his sound was being picked up. Like that was. He didn't know that his sound. You could tell that he wasn't doing it on purpose because there was somebody in the background talking.
Yeah.
Just. So anyway, that's been really fun.
That's great. Chip Chipperson Patreon.
Yeah, it's I haven't felt this creative with anything in fucking 10 years. Like it motivated me to do stuff. I don't know why. It's just fucking this coronavirus. That's one thing it's done is it maybe because you're forced to just be in the house and you're either going to do that or go crazy. But it's made me look in different directions creatively, which I love.
I mean, I'm happy for you that you have this outlet, but at the same time, as somebody who's in the arts, sad for you that this is your muse, that you are stuck, that Chip is what does it for you. I guess it's a good thing. I mean, some people go through lives with never finding it at all.
I really enjoy it because watching guys, really funny guys, some guys are great at it, but the home content from some guys has been awesome. But people who are just in their houses, it's really hard to find people doing great home content that's interesting to me. And Chip may not interest anybody, but to me it does. Like, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And
I like that you have a character that's making home content that you, out of character, can be like, oh, that's pretty good. I like that.
I just enjoy it. It makes me laugh. So if nobody responds to it, they don't. Like, I really do feel that way. Like, I want people to like it, but if they don't, hey, I get it. I get why people think it stink.
It's fine. It's like being a writer on The Wire and also being a fan on The Wire. And you're like, that's a good episode. I'm glad I wrote that.
Yeah, I mean, some people might object to that comparison.
I wouldn't. Also, I did put up a new annoying eater yesterday.
Hot dog?
I did the first annual annoying eater hot dog eating contest because I saw Joey Chestnuts did 75 in 10 minutes.
Ah, right.
So I got it from Nathan's official, and I gave myself 2 minutes to eat one hot dog. If he could do 75 in 10, I put 2 minutes on the clock to finish one hot dog and to see if I would be successful or not. But as you know, my flair for the theatrical will not allow me to tell you whether or not I was successful.
Well, of course not. I mean, and we all know, obviously, the taste might have been the issue. The shape certainly isn't. So it might have been the taste that threw you off.
It's weird.
You know, weird to take a hot dog and slap your cheek with it? Did that feel weird?
Well,
have a couple of onions?
Not one person, not even one in all the YouTube comments or Twitter replies or Instagram comments, and there's so much interaction. Not one person has made a reference to, is he going to put it in his mouth or is he going to sit on it? Nobody. I mean, it's just never come up.
Well, that's the surprise. See, that's the first thing I would have thought of if I was commenting, was that you were going to do something phallic with it. But I do want to see you struggle with it, pretend to struggle. Put your own hand on your own head. Oh, I don't want to.
Yeah. You think for me it was like once the bun shows up, I'm like, what's this thing? I don't understand.
Yeah.
The hot dog itself, I'm like very familiar. This
oh my God. Was it weird when you pulled the hot dog out of the bun and there was no blood on it?
Yeah. Yeah, the first take, I was like the kielbasa queen. And Jess was like, that's not, you got to redo this. That's not how you do it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll fix it.
I understand.
Yes.
That's an interesting one to do, though, because hot dogs, even for people who are normal eaters and like meat and are used to eating that stuff, hot dogs are a weird taste. It's a very unusual flavor. It's not necessarily healthy. It's a lot of shit mushed together. That's an acquired weird taste with an aftertaste.
But it's also a kid's food, which... that's part of it is, people just people love to generalize. They just love to group everything together and go like, well, I guess Sam just eats kids' foods. And so I think that's, you show last week it was avocado. That's a very adult food. This week it's hot dog. It's a kid's food. It's like, I want to run the gamut of this stuff.
I'm looking at you in your blue short sleeve shirt.
Thank you, man. It is. It's a blue T-shirt is what it is.
Yep. Watching your face.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth watching. Definitely
I have to go, but you're not even watching with the audio. You're just looking at the face.
No, I'm just watching your face. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's up over at the Not Sam YouTube channel with all the Sam Roberts Now shows that I've been doing too. So check that out.
Yep.
And we'll be right back.
Yes. By the way, 81, he had a stroke. Charlie Dice had a stroke and just, I guess, wasn't COVID. That's what you have to say now. Everybody who dies, it wasn't. And you know who else died, by the way, before we did? Ennio, I think how you say his name is Ennio Morricone. Is that how you say his name? The fucking greatest composer in film history. I mean, there's nobody who did a better music for films than him. Did all the spaghetti westerns, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, he did Ecstasy of Gold, right?
Ecstasy of the Gold. And when I watched that last night from the actual film. And if you've ever seen Metallica live, that's what they opened with on giant screen. That's where Opie and Anthony got the idea from. It was from Metallica's opening. They show that scene where Eli Wallach is running through the through the fucking graveyard, and it's so great. And that's how Metallica comes out. So R.I.P. to him. He was really awesome. And Tarantino used him for The Hateful Eight. He loves them so much. He got him to do stuff for The Hateful Eight, and it was really good. So what a talented guy.
Man, speaking of talented people, how about this Patrick Mahomes character? 10-year contract extension with the Chiefs. Did you hear about how much money he's getting to play the foosball?
I did hear. Yeah, I don't remember it, but I did. Did they sign the deal yet, or is this the speculation?
I guess it's speculation technically, but I think
agreed to.
Yeah, I think once it's out there like this, I think it's a done deal. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he would be negotiating. It's like $503 million. I don't know how he got that extra 3 in there.
Yeah, but it's for 100 years.
$503 million for 100 years. Yeah. Yeah, 10 years, $500 million bucks, and the Chiefs have him locked in. It's a pretty sweet deal.
$50 million a year. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't exactly know how it's going. Maybe it's a Bobby Bonilla deal. Maybe he'll get like $10 million a year and then $1 million a year for the next forever. But I don't exactly know how it'll be mapped out or how they're budgeting it or anything. I just know it's $500 million.
Creatively constructed.
Yeah, usually they are when they're that high.
Yeah,
it's a 10-year extension.
Actually, it's a 10-year, $450 million extension that's added onto the 2 years and $27 million remaining on his rookie deal, which forms a 12-year, $477 million deal. You reach $503 million by adding incentives for championship and Super Bowl wins over the life of the contract.
Right. Wow.
And not all of that's guaranteed anyway.
Is he married? How old is he? He's a really young guy.
It's the first question.
24. I'm wondering, does he have a family?
Jim's trying to figure out if he's single. Maybe he needs a mate. Maybe he needs. Jim's like, you know what? I can move in with this fella.
That may have seemed like the motivation for that ill-timed question, but all I think of is like what a life this guy has ahead of him. Like what a fucking amazing life of models and whatever he wants. Does he? But is he like married with a kid at age 24? Because a lot of times these guys are married so young, and it's like you probably. I mean, look, maybe you're happily married, but I can't imagine being happy being married at 24, signing a $500 million deal.
Either way, he plays football for 12 years. Even if he doesn't make it the entire 12 years, he can literally just do whatever he wants after that. Anything.
Yeah,
like
when he's 36,
he doesn't have to. Yeah, he'll be 36 years old, and he won't have to do anything anymore. He could do a million things, or he could do nothing. He could sit with his thumb up his ass playing PlayStation, which is difficult because, you know, one thumb would be up your ass to only have one hand on the controller. But still, he's got all the money in the world. If that's the skill that he wants to perfect, he can do that.
Well, you can buy another thumb for that much. You can have somebody make a mold of your thumb that feels like skin but has a harder interior, and then you can place your buttocks on it and enjoy the game. Yeah, you go on Twitch for the rest of his life. When you're 36, you start playing Twitch, and he's got to have insurance. Excuse me, even if he doesn't make it.
Oh yeah,
12 years. There's insurance, so he'll make some kind of money. He might make most of it.
And he'd go on Twitch, and he'd be so famous after making all that money playing football and being good at it, by the way.
Yes.
That he'd go on Twitch and make another few $1 million just being a Twitch guy. He could just sit there and live off the income he makes on Twitch or whatever and just bank all that NFL money.
Yeah, he's a better than average quarterback.
I would hope so.
Yeah, they're good. Now, Kaepernick, there's all this talk with Black Lives Matter and what's been happening. Will Kaepernick get a deal? I know he just signed something with Disney.
First look deal with Disney.
Which means what? I guess, is that for a documentary on him?
Yeah, it's for his production company.
Okay. Yeah, so they can develop projects, and Disney just gets the first look. So yeah, it's not necessarily just about him. It's like, you know, coming up with culturally relevant stories that Disney can tell, and they get to have first pick.
Yeah, which is it's nice. It's like what they used to give in stand-up. They would give these development deals or holding deals, which 98% of the time never went anywhere. Some of us never got one. But that was what Montreal was always looked like. People would go up to the festival and like, oh, so-and-so got a deal. And there was a span where they just kept giving away money, and then no one ever got a show out of it. They would find somebody with 6 good minutes and go, you're worth $200,000, and hand the money to sit there. They come up with a couple of lame scripts for them, and the person wound up just getting stuck in L.A., and nothing ever came of it. So this seems like it's different. If it's a first look, it means he can do what he wants and then just present it to them. And then if they decide to go with it, they have the option of, first right of refusal, probably.
The thinking is like he could do kind of what LeBron did, in the sense that LeBron started this production
basketball?
companies.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think that is in the cards for Colin Kaepernick
Sam, you sound
right now. No.
Yeah,
no,
it's a
you're
different
right.
sport,
You're right.
Sam.
I figure one sport. He's an athlete. At the end of the day, he could do whatever needs to be done. He could play games.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know how like LeBron's got that show on HBO now, and he's developing all kinds of Hollywood projects. I think that's their vision for Kaepernick too, and maybe Kaepernick's vision for himself.
Yeah, because the NFL, I mean, again, I don't know. How many years has he been out? Has he been out for 3 years or 2? He's been out for a couple of years.
I want to say 3.
How old is he, too? I don't.
I think he's 56.
Oh, he's perfect age for playing football. Okay, cool. I was worried that he was too old.
He's still good. No, he's got a couple years.
Oh, he's fine. He's 32. He could come back and play, but he might be too much of a distraction if he comes back and plays. Like the teams are looking at him, But what do they do with this kneeling? They're not going to stop the kneeling anymore.
No, they're not going to stop.
By the way, look, Trump asking Bubba Watson or implying, did he apologize? For what? Bubba Watson didn't necessarily push the narrative. And didn't he kind of come around afterwards and go, yeah, maybe it was? Like,
yes, he did.
He didn't stage a fucking hoax. And I think NASCAR, even if it did turn out to be a mistake, and it was a mistake, it wasn't a noose, it wasn't put up there to be a race, it was just for the garage. I think they responded pretty smart. The drivers came out, they did something really nice, that they know that even if this noose isn't legit, there's probably been a lot of uncomfortability black people in general have going to NASCAR events. So maybe they're like, this is just to show you that the drivers are all on this side of this issue. It was a really nice moment. I didn't think it was some grand hoax that the one black driver has to apologize for. I mean, Jesus Christ, he didn't do it. He just responded to what other people told him.
Trump is he came out hard this weekend. Trump is in campaign mode. He's going to battle. So, I mean, last time his strategy is to get a group of people that maybe feel disenfranchised. Like, he needs a rallying call. He wants to get people upset. He wants to get people pissed. He wants to get the people who support him. They need to feel like they're rebelling against something. So he's out there saying all these sports teams shouldn't be changing their names. He's out there saying NASCAR shouldn't be taking the flag off the car, or shouldn't be banning the Confederate flag. And he's referring to Bubba Watson's thing as a hoax because the people he wants the people who want to believe. There are people who want to believe it's a hoax, right? And he wants those people to feel like encouraged to vote for him. You watch over the next couple months this sort of like Trump rhetoric getting people upset, like taking a clear stance on something that isn't even true. You watch it amp up because he's trying to get his people upset and ready to vote.
But it doesn't feel the same as it did 4 years ago. Like, because the appeal to Trump, I think the big appeal was that he was outside the system. He was a giant fuck you to all these guys who have been doing this for so long. And again, 100% agree with him about the media, and I'll always agree with him about the media. And he was right. And he wound up winning, and he wound up coming in, and maybe some things I didn't like how he handled it all. And I think he did a great job with the economy. And there's other things I think that he didn't do a good job with. I didn't like the way he handled a lot of social issues. But whatever, he didn't even get credit for the good things he did. But now he's just fighting this media idea. And it's like, I understand that, but it doesn't feel like you're pushing back against a system when you're doing this. And he doesn't, I don't know if he listens to people around him, but he needs someone around him to say, you got to stop with this, because it feels like, again, you're whack-a-moling things like just social issues that are popping up. Like the teams is not something you should give a fuck about. Like,
no, at this point,
who gives a fuck about the team? I've been making the point about wanting the Redskins to change their name, even though he's going the opposite way for totally different reasons. He's saying because of political correctness. It's like, well, for political correctness, they should cartoon everybody or nobody. So, it's about time they took it in the fucking out. I'm happy to see them getting shit to change their stupid name. Good. Fuck them.
Yeah, I think that his strategy should... Oh, that's coming from my house. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Somebody's sawing something. It sounds like the old
I actually
days
prefer
over
that. From your mic.
yeah, that's loud.
Jesus Christ.
Sounds like the old days at Sirius. That's like somebody's doing core drilling in my house.
Conducting cartel business.
Yeah, I think that the better strategy would probably be to go like, here's how much better I've made things.
Yeah,
right?
your accomplishments.
The first 4 years is get me into office because this is how bad things are. And then the second 4 years is this is how much better I've made things. I can continue it. But I think he's switched strategy and trying to get people upset again. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the same at all. Luckily, though, there is another outside of the box candidate that we're going to have the option of voting for.
Who's that?
Kanye.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Kanye, you did it again. You a genius.
Yeah, I'm glad he Didn't make it about himself.
Nope.
Ugh, what an ass.
Nope. It's about the country. Now, this is a huge shock. Huge shock to me because I thought this was serious. This is very, very shocking. Apparently, he has not filled out any of the paperwork that one would have to fill out to actually run for president. I am shocked that he would go to Twitter before he would do that. So that took me by surprise. I think that must be a mistake. But yes, he did announce on the 4th of July, the most patriotic day of the year, that he is going to run for president. And it's a good time for him to do it because he has denounced MAGA and people were waiting for that. People are slowly but surely ready to accept Yeezy back into their lives. He announced a big deal with the Gap. So he's also got a great business sense like we always want out of our president. And the most important element of the whole thing, he's finally putting out fire again. He's finally putting out hits again. He's putting out good music.
The song he wrote that they came out with was good. I didn't love it, but I liked his part of it. I thought it was very good. But I didn't, I don't know if I'd buy it, but I liked it more than I thought. No.
You ain't gonna vote for him for president because of that?
No, it's the whole thing is a mess. You know who's going to win the election? Whoever calms people. This is why Trump's making a fatal flaw. He's trying to get people angry, and it's like people are already fucking angry. They're crazy.
So pissed.
You need someone who's going to go. Like, even people who are angry want to feel like things are going to be okay. You got to be able to go out there and go, no. Look, I know it's crazy. Relax. I got it. We're going to handle it. You got to calm people a little bit. His base isn't insane. They're just people who are conservative. They're not fucking maniacs running around with fucking machetes. I mean, they want a sense of country and calm. And he's got to calm people. He has no shot at
Jim's looking for a Kanye.
Kanye. They want to sign a Kanye.
Thank you, Travis.
They want to sign a Kanye. No, it's not going to happen. Well, I mean, think about it this way, though. Trump lied about reading the Bible. He's never read that book before in his life, but he lied about it being his... You think he loves the Bible?
Yes,
he doesn't even know if he likes the Old Testament or the New Testament.
Likes them both.
Part of it. All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. The whole book. The whole thing. Start cover. He's a cover-to-cover guy with the Bible.
Yeah, why would you choose which part of the word to listen to? You don't have to choose which of his words that you value more than others, so I respected his answer.
Bro, you want people to calm down? Put on Jesus Walks. It helps everybody. Put on Jesus Walks. It still resonates.
I don't know what
God, show me the way, because the devil's trying to bring me down.
Are those Kanye songs?
That's right. You know what the Midwest is? Troy, you know what the Midwest is, don't you?
Young and Restless.
That's right. That's right. And he's talking in the Midwest, you know?
Jim, you know Jesus Walks.
Yeah, Jesus does walk. I don't think that was a great statement.
I'm talking about the song, on water, man.
No, I don't think I've heard that.
Yeah, you definitely have.
Can we play a second of it? I don't know if I know it.
I bet you will. It's one of his earlier hits. It's classic, it was off the first classic, yay. And it's the type of song that makes you miss the old Kanye. But
although
old
Kanye that new Kanye is good. I'm feeling it.
New Kanye is good. Oh, because new Kanye is kind of more like the old Kanye.
And I sent you. He did a collab with Ty Dolla $ign and Skrillex. That is fire.
Of course it is, because he's back to making fire again. He's got
to sell the sneakers, bruh.
He's got to sell sneakers, and plus he's got to sell a whole bunch of khakis. He's got a lot of khakis lined up to sell at the Gap. I mean, if he doesn't move some Gap khakis and some solid color tees, some basics, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, because I'm sure the Gap is paying him a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you got to put out hits. You got to put out hits.
I can't wait to see what ugly clothes he makes. I can't wait to see what fucking unwearable ugly clothes he makes.
Don't you worry about it. You'll be able to see him on this model right here in front of you.
They are awful. His clothes are fucking awful.
It's called vagabond chic.
Terrible. Terrible.
Wait.
He's wandering through the desert. What shit clothes?
You don't like ill-fitting earth tone sweats?
Just god awful. God awful. Nobody likes them. Nobody likes his dumb wicker chair shoes. His fucking wicker chair. They're like little baskets. When you walk into your aunt's house, in fucking Vermont, and she has a little wicker thing with 2 pieces of fruit sticking out of it. That's what he puts on his feet. His fucking shoes suck.
You're saying that the Kanye appeal is based around the Emperor's new clothes?
It is hilarious. And again, he's a very talented, smart guy. I've never said Kanye West was a dumb guy, and I've never said he's not a talented musician. He's great at what he does. When he does it. I mean, you know, some of the stuff I think stinks, but when he does something good, you gotta say it's good. But yeah, for people to look to him like, oh, Kanye said, ugh. Why? I've always thought he was a cornball.
Troy, did you play any Kanye over the weekend? Did you listen to any of it just to, you get back into it, right? Once good Kanye starts again, you're like, you know what? Let's celebrate the entire catalog.
Like once that seed's planted again, you're like, oh man, let's go back.
Right.
It's so good. It's so good.
Even from a few years ago, you got to skip past the last album. You just can't, as long as you skip past Chick-fil-A, everything before that is good.
No, you got to listen to it.
The last album is unlistenable to me. I just
Why?
can't get it.
Unfortunately,
I don't care.
It's very bad. It's very bad. It's just it's an album of nothing. There's there's nothing. There's not, it's not, you don't listen to it and go like, this is terrible. It doesn't feel like he was trying anything. You just sit there and you're like, I could be doing something else right now.
Is it a gospel record?
Something else right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
it's
Nuevo
a very God
gospel
record. Yeah.
I don't even mind him doing that. I don't mind him doing that. Like, hey, if creatively he wants to try that and it just works or it doesn't work, that doesn't bother me.
A lot of people try that too. Like, didn't Snoop tried that a couple years ago and it just flopped? You know, I get it. They want to give it a shot, but
sure,
you know.
But you can make
people want to hear about. People want to hear about the streets, you know.
Yeah, the streets is talking. Do you want to hear Jesus Walks, Jim?
For a second, sure. I'm sure you're probably right too, Sam. I probably heard it and just don't recognize it.
Yeah. That was, Mike, you got it right.
Montone.
I do, yeah. So I was testing the first hour there while you gentlemen were talking. 1 sec.
That's okay. Getting a pump in. You got to get your pump in while you can, man. Look at those buys and tries. They don't build themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Got to flex on company time.
Look at him. His pectorals were just dancing as he was talking. He is an amazing body, this guy.
Quarantine has been good to Montone.
Oh, yeah, it has.
Plenty of time
lifting
for
heavy
milk.
shit.
But
are you mocking?
But that's
are
good.
You mocking Young Hova the God?
Yeah.
I feel like your tone is mocking to Iceberg.
Hey. But yeah, no, that was good. That's really good.
Yeah. I would vote for Jay-Z for president, I guess. I think everybody should just run for president. Why not? Like, just open it up, you know?
By the way, you know how Trump is
paperwork and stuff.
You know Trump is making mistakes because even guys like Lindsey Graham are taking
Lady
the
G.
other side. Yeah, let's hope.
Lady G
are taking the fucking side of like no, NASCAR did the right thing. There's no apology. Like even guys who are really good for him are going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
We all have to get reelected."
Yeah, how far are you going with this, bro?
I don't have $1 billion to rest on if I lose.
Yeah. Who knows? You know what? Maybe, and we're going conspiracy theory here, but let's go. You know, we were talking about Epstein in the first hour. Let's go. You know, let's flush this stuff out. Maybe Trump is trying to get everybody all riled up, knowing it's only going to get a certain part of the population, but everybody's going to be talking about it, right? That's what Trump is very good at, is making people talk, like or hate. He doesn't care. He just wants people to talk, right? That's why he got so much press running for president, because before everybody hated him. Every news show in the world put him on their show. Yep. He would just talk shit, get people watching. You know, I mean, it was great for everybody. It was good for business. What if he's going this far because he knows he's not going to win? He doesn't even really want to win. If he does, he's cool with it. I'm not saying he's fully sabotaging it, but the strategy is, let's go this far. If I win, great. I'm still the president. If I lose, we could take this energy and we can form this news network. He's definitely doing a news network. Whether it's next year or whether it's 4 years from now, he's definitely, in my opinion, doing the news network. So maybe he's going all this far, because he's on Twitter again this weekend talking about how like Fox News is way too liberal. Like that they're totally unfair to him, and that everybody should watch One American News.
which he could buy that network, I'm sure. So maybe this is a strategy that in case he doesn't win, he can keep this like super aggressive base and hit up his own news network.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, sure, he may be thinking of that because I definitely think, but I don't think he's as conservative as that anyway. I don't think he's not that conservative. So I mean, he knows there's a base for it, and he knows that it would sell. But I don't think he's trying to sabotage it, only because he would just step down. Like literally, he's able to step down if he wants to. He could just not seek re-election, and that would be a loss.
Yeah, but it would be bad for business. Because he needs to be able to start his network based around the fact that they don't want me doing this.
Maybe. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we got screwed out of the election. We're still like, you know what I mean? There has to be that sort of rebel wave where it's like we are the voice of the voiceless here, and you know everybody can complain about statues or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, because he was super aggressive in his 4th of July speech, super aggressive on Twitter. You know, I think he's amping up to have a very aggressive campaign, and maybe he wins.
Maybe.
And if he doesn't, start up that news network and get everybody that's going to be on board with him anyway. Because even if he doesn't win, it's not like he's not going to have millions of supporters that will watch a news network.
And the fact that the best the Democrats could do, and again, I think Joe Biden, hey, look, he's been in public life for a long time, but that's the best they could do. For all the shit that party talks about fucking inclusiveness and progress, the best they could come up with is a 77-year-old white guy who's already had 8 years in the White House. Like, that's the best they could do. Now, there's no hopeful young guys. I mean, Buttigieg, is that Buttigieg, however you say his name? Buttigieg, yeah. People, I guess, was a little too young. Beto O'Rourke is fucking hateable. That's the best they can do.
He was once compared Alex Jones once mistakenly interviewed a pile of shit thinking it was Beto O'Rourke.
It was an honest mistake. It was an honest mistake. Yes. Yeah. Alex
asking him questions. Yeah, no, I don't think he would have done that on purpose either.
No.
Well, you know, but it goes back to that thing that you were just talking about people wanting normalcy. Yeah. And I mean, normal to people is, oh, I know that guy. He was in the White House for 8 years. Or, you know, they go back to not wanting to risk change. Even though they say how much change needs to be made, they don't want to actually risk that.
You know how Biden should campaign? He should go, hi, I'm sorbet. I'm sorbet. I'm a palate cleanser. We all know that he is basically just there to bring some sense of normalcy, and the system is workable back to the country. That's what his job in his mind is. There's no way he's a more than one-term president. He is a palate cleanser while the Democrats build up. They didn't have anybody quite ready, why would they after 4 years? It's crazy that they didn't, but they think he's a safe bet and he'll bring normalcy. And his vice president, I don't think it's going to be Kamala Harris. I've heard a few names bounced around, but I don't think it's going to be Kamala Harris or anybody who is already lost in that arena. Yeah. I don't think she's liked by people. I don't think people like her that much.
I think that's right. And I think a lot of times people always assume it's going to be somebody else that already ran, but a lot of times it's not. You know, more often than not, I think they don't just take somebody that ran for president. Like, they build cabinets with those people, but they don't. They very often don't pick vice presidents from that catalog. But yeah, I think that could be smart. Like, if Biden just stood up and went, look, it's a mess. And guess what? 4 years from now, it's still going to be a mess. But if we want to get to the place where we can get somebody in the White House that will make it so it's not a mess anymore, let me be that palate cleanser. Cleanse the palate now with me. I'll cleanse the palate, and then 4 years from now, we can bring in somebody else. They'll go, okay, all right, that's a deal. That makes sense. Okay, it's a deal.
I still don't know who I want. I really don't. Like, I don't know. I mean, one problem I have with any Republican is I don't want a Supreme Court that's that conservative.
Yep.
You know, I like it to be kind of balanced, but I don't love Biden. You know, and I like some of what Trump did, and I don't like some of what he did. I don't know. I just don't know.
If Kanye figures out a way to get his name on a ballot, which he won't, because I don't think he's going to fill out the paperwork. I'm not going to write him in. You know, that's a little far. Like, you can't just say I'm running for president. Everybody write me in like that. You haven't even done the footwork. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just fucking lazy.
It's lazy. It's lazy. You're right. But if Kanye does somehow get his name on a ballot, I mean, I don't see me going into a voting booth and not checking off Kanye's name just because it's there. And here's the thing. A lot of people were like, well, Trump running for president, you know, that's a goof. You know what I mean? Like, this will never happen. So, you know, who knows this world we live in? Who knows? But yeah. But yeah, no, I think right now, I think there's a very small likelihood that Kanye's name will actually be on a ballot.
Yeah, I wouldn't look for it. If it's there, no. I would enjoy the surprise of it, but I wouldn't get my hopes up that that's really going to happen.
Well, I guess there's a libertarian candidate that they're trying to make some noise for.
Oh, good. Who's that? They always card out great ones.
What's their name, Mike?
Dr. Jo Jorgensen is running on the Libertarian ticket. She's a female, actually. So the Libertarians are technically the most progressive choice in this election.
That's right. That's right. And Jorgensen is such a presidential last name. I think that it's been too long, and we need a President Jorgensen. I think if we're going to have a Libertarian president, the first should be President Jorgensen.
What kind of doctor is she? Is she a medical doctor, or is she a
doctor of style?
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I hadn't heard too much about her until the Libertarians, like, they run, you know, they don't get a lot of coverage for their primary. So she won it. It was up on Twitter, and they've all been pushing her, pushing her social accounts. But they tend to stick pretty closely to just what their party line doctrine is. Like, they won't veer too much and make, like, you know, promises like Republicans and Democrats. They're not trying to woo people with, they're not trying to convince them. They're just trying to show you this is what libertarianism is. If you vote for us, this is what you get.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, you know, this is the person representing the party, but you're really just voting for the party.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's not that different. I mean, you know, people campaign, but Republicans and Democrats don't do it that much differently. Like, if you're running as a Republican, you can't go way off the beaten path.
Yeah, I think it's because like the Republicans are such a big tent party. Like, you have like the Tea Party people, and then you have people like Rand Paul who veer closer to libertarianism. Then you have kind of like the centrist Republicans who are more in the middle of the line, and then you get the same thing over on the Democrat side. Like, that's what all that infighting was from, over the Bernie people and the progressive left wing of the party, and then people try to appeal to flyover state voters and the blue dog Democrats.
She's she promotes the demilitarization of police, is to go after perpetrators of violent crimes, not to act as a force against the people. Yeah, that's true. She thinks the war on drugs is ridiculous, and she supports abolishing drug laws. She opposes federal civil assets forfeiture. And in a way, I kind of agree with that, where the government just takes your shit, unless it's stuff you made from a crime. Well, yeah, very much. Yeah. And she thinks you should be able to opt out of Social Security.
Yes.
She should stop construction on the wall, eliminate quotas, eliminate who can immigrate to the U.S.
Okay, this is actually weird. She supports bigger government and officials making your decisions for you, which I don't understand that from a libertarian candidate, but it could make things easier, I guess.
Is she supporting bigger government?
No, I mean, she's a libertarian. It would be lesser government.
She has a PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. That's why she's a doctor.
Oh, okay.
I mean, so that's not like...
What's industrial psychology?
Right, like I couldn't bring my kid to her for a checkup.
No, you could. Maybe you could figure out why all of your metals are depressed.
Oh, we were saving that for the Patreon.
No, you get that free of charge. That's the teaser.
By the way, this is absolutely disgusting.
The two girls having sex.
No. If I put that up, Mike would have his penis out.
Mike wouldn't be alone.
The disgusting visual that I saw of Kirk Cinnamon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you should be truly embarrassed. You really should be embarrassed for yourself.
Humiliated.
Yeah, you should be. You should absolutely be. There was a little preview. I think it was on the Chip Chipperson Twitter account, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
But there's a little preview of I guess what's the name of the interview show?
Going Deep with Chipperson.
Right, Going Deep with Chipperson. And he had Kirk Cinnamon on. And I didn't realize how much Kirk liked gold. Like gold lame and just gold. He likes shiny and bright, doesn't he?
Because that conveys happy to him. It also shows off how fat Jim has gotten. Yeah, Kirk likes happy colors and it's.
God damn it! I don't want to do this one. Kirk is so happy. He gives me the fucking creeps.
First of all, I love that because Chip is there setting up the character already. Like that, you're already doing the groundwork. So people know, I'm about to meet somebody who's very happy, and Chip doesn't like that. I like that.
Hello, Lyle. Or should I say Chipper?
Oh, my God. People would need to freeze frame that and just put it on a T-shirt.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Kirk Cinnamon wears a golden button-down. I didn't even know where you could get this stuff from. He wears a golden button-down shirt with a golden bow tie and a golden fedora. And then he has like a Lego person hairdo wig on with bangs, like a Dutch boy wig.
Yep.
And his background is stuffed animals hung up like at a fairground, like at a fair game, when you have to like throw darts into the balloons, and there's all the teddy bears on the wall. That's the background of Kirk Cinnamon.
Yes, it is. Very happy. He's
wearing
happy.
golden.
Well, if
I'm not.
I'd look at him and I'll go, "You're right, Mr. Bluebird. Who am I?"
Oh, I missed something. Let me rewind.
I say Chipper. I'd look at him and I'll go,
"No,
You're right, Mr. Bluebird. Who am I to be a Mr. Frowny?"
Mr. Frowny.
I seen a bluebird one time. I hit him so hard with a golf club, his feet were still grabbing the branch as his head flew across the yard.
Oh my God! Fun times, Kirk.
Yeah, that's about a 5-minute interview. That was just a quick little.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, yeah, you don't want to give away all the great content for free.
Not at all. And there was a Zoom call. Craig Schinkel did a Zoom call, and talked to people for about a half hour. And
what?
Craig was bombing.
Now,
and Chip came in, of course, for the final 25 minutes. Chip came in.
You did an hour in 2 different characters?
50 minutes, maybe 51 minutes. Yeah.
My
yeah.
God.
The Zoom call.
Are you physically exhausted after portraying these characters as much as you do? Like, are you just like zapped after? Or
No,
is there just something so comfortable?
What makes me tired is constantly trying to get my toe to the trigger and missing. That tuckers me out. No, what's exhausting is shopping for an outfit and going, what would Ted Scheckler wear?
Oh.
Buying Ted Scheckler's outfit was exhausting.
What store would you go to find that type of a thing? Like, can you go to like a Walmart and like, is there enough variety there? Yeah.
Secondhand stores, costume stores, there's just you don't know what you're looking for until you see it. Then you find.
Do you ever go shopping, like not character shopping, just shopping, Jim Norton shopping, and you're like looking around a store and you're like, this isn't for me, but Kirk would love this, or this isn't for me, but Chip would love this.
Did I buy 2 tuxedos yesterday that are of lower quality? Yep.
You bought 2 tuxes?
And 3 vests.
Were you shopping for these particular items, or you just saw them and thought, my friends
right
must
to the
have
store.
them.
Went right to the store because I already had a 3rd tux.
You have 3 tuxedos now.
Somebody was making a video complaining about TBS and they wanted to look good. Yep.
And you need to have some variety, right?
Yeah, you gotta have variety.
Yeah. Choices.
You have to.
No, it's important.
Choices. Yeah, why not?
Well, good. I'm glad it's all working out for you. By the way, I'm just reading this right now. Halle Berry was on board to play the role of a transgender man in a movie, and a wave of criticism came out. And she's decided she will not play the role of the transgender man.
It's acting.
Acting.
You're pretending to be someone. You don't have to be that person or that race or that gender to pretend to be someone. Holy shit. So how about this? Is it going to go into height where in order to play someone 6'5", if you're 5'11", you're somehow appropriating something and you, Jesus Christ, how many famous big name trans actors are there? You go with who you think can do the best job and bring in the most people. Ugh, I think fucking nonsense.
I think we should cancel the original Superman trilogy because how could Superman get paralyzed falling off a horse? You know, I mean,
that's
clearly
right.
He is not from the planet Krypton at all.
You're right. He's appropriating.
He's appropriating Kryptonian culture.
It's cringe at this point. Yeah. It is fucking. She apologizes, is no longer going to. It's just cringe. And it's none of it's genuine. None of this shit is genuine. It's a bunch of people just literally looking for things to complain about and biting each other's assholes out, and then the brush fire passes. It's just, it's not real. Like it's not real anger. It's not real outrage.
And nobody asked for it.
No, nobody asked for it. It's just a thing that you could. You just saw it and you're like, oh, I could complain about this and like freak people out. And then Holly Berry's like, okay, I won't do it. I won't do it.
But I mean, like they took Black Lives Matter and just turned it into something completely different.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah.
Like, do you think because of the way people react to the internet and how seriously they take it, do you think all day yesterday Ellen DeGeneres was worried that she was dead?
Oh, was that?
Did I die again?
Oh, dude,
it's so funny.
It's hilarious. There's this like, first of all, they keep saying they don't say dead. They say Ellen D-worded. There was a meme that started. I think it's like a K-pop accounts that are starting this stuff. Like they just started because they thought it was funny, and they said Ellen DeGeneres D-worded because she was skateboarding on the roof of a house and fell off. Oh. and then so they started posting photos that said R.I.P. Ellen, and it was just any human being with short blonde hair you would just put up and go R.I.P. Ellen, and just any picture of any human being that had short blonde hair. And I mean, it's still in the top 30, but it was trending number 1 for most of last night.
Oh, okay.
Just because.
I didn't hear that until just now. Glad she's fine. Glad she's well.
And it was beautiful because like then the trend started to continue because so many people started tweeting, why is hashtag RIP Ellen trending? Which makes the trend go further and further. And then you dig, and the more you dig, the more confusing it gets. Because you're like, what do you mean? What is D-worded? I don't understand. What do you mean she D-worded? What do you mean she was skateboarding on the roof of a house?
And then some just shortened to worded.
Oh.
I gotta say, I love what K-pop people are doing online.
It's so funny.
They are funny.
It's so funny because it comes from S-worded, because suicide is a trigger term. And I also think that it affects your YouTube monetization. So people don't say it, like they'll bleep it out or whatever. So they'll say S-worded. But then they'll cycle that into like meme culture, where you're just making fun of everything. And then you say D-worded, and then you say worded. And then you'll claim that Ellen was skateboarding on the roof of a house.
Isn't it funny how...
It's absurd.
There's this whole thing, especially like Shane Dawson. I mean, I obviously don't watch his shit. I know his name. I don't know what he does. But the fact now that he's finished because of rude jokes that he did, this is what I don't get. Why is it people say, well, that's not a joke. It's not a joke if no one laughs. But if you make a horror movie and no one is scared, people don't doubt that it was a horror movie. People just say that horror movie sucked.
They say it sucked.
That was terrible. It missed. But nobody comes and goes, oh, I'm sorry, that was not a horror movie. That was a real expression of murder. Comedy and jokes are the only form of expression that has to put up with this shit, which is that if it doesn't work, it is not what you intended to be, which is comedic. If it's offensive, it is not what you intended it to be. It was a true expression of your secret inner desires. But horror movies never get that. Nobody ever looks at a bad horror movie and accuses the makers, oh, that wasn't a horror movie because I wasn't scared. Why are we able to recognize that that was just something that missed, but a joke that missed is somehow seen as not meant to be a joke? It's this crazy thing people have gotten into where they're trying to punish you for saying things that they just don't think are funny. It's psychotic, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. I'm not saying you can't say something's tasteless or shitty or terrible, but to act like that wasn't a joke. Yeah, it was. It was just the one you didn't like.
I kind of want to start doing that, though. That sounds hilarious. Go to like a horror movie and then leave going like, why did they say that dramatic film was a horror movie? That was not a horror movie. It was just a straight drama. Well, I wasn't scared, so it wasn't a horror movie. Or like, oh, why was that comedy called a horror movie? That shouldn't have even been rated R. That didn't scare me at all.
But isn't it like that shows you the lie that all of this nonsense is based on? It's all based in a lie, because if it was real, they'd be saying that about scary movies, or they'd be saying that about other forms of expression. But it's only when you joke about something.
Yeah, because they go like, well, by definition, comedy is supposed to make you laugh, right? And you're like, yeah, but it doesn't always. It's supposed to, sure, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
like romance, it's called being ineffective.
Yeah, an ineffective joke or a terrible joke. Yeah. Sure. Tasteless joke, a rude joke, a mean joke. But the joke is still at the end of that. But right. The fact that they're acting like, oh, that was real. What a bunch of fucking idiots. What an idiotic fucking place we're in. Yeah, I guess they've always done it too. People have always done it, you know. Years ago it was about religion, you know, so this is not a new thing. It's just you don't expect it to be coming from such young people. You know, the fact that younger people are the ones now scolding is, I guess, the big shock. We always expected it to be the old people scolding, and now it's the young people going, oh, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Naughty.
Because the old people started not scolding. So then the young people had nothing to do but scold.
Right.
Like you can't.
Based on a lie.
No, I'm with you. I'm agreeing.
Yeah, it's based on a lie.
The new rebellion is scolding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, you pushed it as far as you could push it in the other way. So theoretically, when as sort of Gen Z gets older, and even the younger millennials get older, there's going to be some kind of, you know, who knows? Maybe it'll be just turning all the scolding into absurdity, the way the K-pop kids are doing. Who knows what'll happen? It's interesting to watch, though.
It is, but it's irritating, because then a company like YouTube reacts to it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like these companies react to it, and they say things like, well, it was for his behavior on the platform and off it. And when you start getting into his behavior off the platform, well, you're going to have a lot of fucking people that are no longer going to be allowed on YouTube, if that's how you're judging things. Because there's a lot of sports things that are up, where if you're judging people's behavior off of YouTube, it just gets into a crazy area. And the fact that they don't see themselves as publishers at this point is psychotic. The fact that them and Twitter and Facebook don't see themselves as content publishers is crazy. They are.
Why do you say that?
Because of the editorial decisions they make are somehow making, I know that they're not publishers, but their whole thing is, hey, we're like the phone company. We're like the phone. No, you're not. No, you're not. Maybe you started that way, but the phone doesn't demonetize certain people for saying certain things and not others. The phone is just the phone.
Right, yeah, the phone doesn't even know what you're saying on it.
The bullhorn doesn't make any type of creative decisions on what people are doing. The bullhorn doesn't nudge certain stories and have algorithms that kind of push back certain stories. You know, they're publishers. They're just not traditional publishers. But because Dorsey has been so aggressive, they are going to eventually lose that 230 protection. Because even Democrats are annoyed for different reasons. Like, they think there's too much hate speech that they're not. Everyone has something that they think they should be doing differently.
Yeah, the algorithms definitely I mean, even when it's not politically motivated, just the fact that they exist, like just the fact that they're like, yeah, this content creator is somebody that we want to represent on YouTube, so we're gonna push that forward. Like, you know, that changes things. Like when Facebook years ago, when they changed the feed from just whoever you follow, the latest thing that got posted, you'll see it. And it just goes down like time. Instagram did the same thing. When they changed it to be like, no, we're going to change it so that you see what we think you want to see, then it gets a little different.
Yeah,
that's not quite the same as being hands off, and yeah.
It really does. And but their whole argument is because the law was made in 95, I think, that protection for online in general and the internet in general. Like, you can't sue the internet. But these guys are different. Google and Twitter and Facebook are different because they do push narratives. Whether you agree with them or not, it doesn't matter. It's not the point, because both sides are annoyed at them for different reasons. The conservatives and the liberals are both going like, your publishers on some level. They deny it, but
yeah,
they are. Yeah. And fucking with Trump, again, nothing to do with Trump, but fucking with a politician and only one politician like that and being so obvious about it, you're forcing their hand.
Mm-hmm. So, well, look, our hand is being forced. We got to take a break. Was that construction?
That was my body saying break time is right on time.
Well, good. That was the break alarm. We'll be back. Does it stink where you are in Hollywood land?
Yeah, it's just in case my ears didn't pick it up. There's another sense that will get that my body is telling me something.
Well, we'll take a break. We're going to be joined by The Miz when we get back. The Miz has a new show. What's it called? Cannonball? Is that right? Cannonball? Yeah, it's like I like these shows that are Cannonball. Shows. Yeah, where people fall down, but they don't get hurt, but you get to watch them fall down for the entire show. I like watching
them fall down. Lava.
I don't mind them getting hurt. I love
Floor is Lava. Well, you could only do the show for so long if people start getting paralyzed. Like, the only thing I'm not sitting there going like, oh great, they're safe. I'm just like, we get more episodes if we're not paralyzing people. So
yeah, fair enough.
I'm happy just getting to watch all these people fall down and fall on their faces. And you know it hurts. I mean, even if you fall face first on a gym mat, it doesn't feel good. You get that weird, like, I have to sneeze feeling because your nose just got slammed onto a gym mat.
Yeah.
That's fun, too. Yeah. Well, Miz is hosting Cannonball, so we'll talk to him about that and a whole lot more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
It's Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. Social distancing.
Yeah, I mean, when we're not busting balls, like, I mean, I like most Kiss songs.
Well, when we're not breaking chops.
What? What is that?
Oh, it's a chip thing. When we're not breaking chops.
Oh, God.
That's fun, right?
No, we don't line up on all music, I suppose. No.
No?
No.
Right,
so have you heard that our company is buying Stitcher? That's what all the trades are reporting today. They don't run these things by me. I guess they're a little... I thought I was top of the flagpole, but I guess not. Because they haven't... I'm reading about this in the Wall Street Journal for the first time. But yeah, I guess we're getting ready to buy Stitcher, the podcasting app.
I know. I remember talking to Scott about it, and he said, "Should we do it?" And I said, "Yes, I think so." And he said, "I wasn't talking to you." I said, "Yeah, no, I know, but I'm still saying that you." I said, "Scott, this is an investment," and he said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I work down the hall," and he told me to leave. Thought I was weird.
Okay, that's a pretty good story. I mean, you're still part of the conversation. I think that's what counts at the end of the day, you know? Yeah, I guess I like that Sirius is being aggressive. You know, that they're buying all these companies and making sure that we stay top of the food chain in this market, you know?
Yeah.
That, like, Pandora, Stitcher, like, okay, we'll just take them all. XM. I mean, think about it. Sirius came in and they were like, oh, XM. Yeah. Oh, Pandora. Oh, Stitcher, they do podcasts too, huh? Oh, okay. We'll just take all of them, thanks. We'd like them all.
Do they don't have their podcast thing up and running yet, do they?
Well, there are serious podcasts. I don't know. They stopped doing ours for some reason. I don't
really
know why. I think so, right? Don't we not have a podcast anymore? I'm assuming it's because it was just. I'm assuming it was just because it's so good.
It was too popular.
It was way too popular, and they were like, "We can't just offer this." Yeah, I mean, some shows still have podcasts for sure, but I don't think we have a podcast anymore.
I don't know. I didn't really know if we did. I mean, I guess we did, but I can't imagine if people didn't listen to it, well, it still doesn't hurt to put it up. So I don't know why they would.
No, I don't think it had anything to do with who was listening to it and who wasn't. I just think that they took a look at everything that they were doing on Pandora, and they're just going to do a different thing, which I can tell you about later.
Oh, nice. You know, hold on. You're up the flagpole?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the flagpole's inserted.
I'm verified.
That's true. That's true. You got that blue check. Let's ask the blue check.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know what's going on Pandora. Do you know what's going on Stitcher?
You mean SiriusXM Pandora Stitcher?
Ooh, that's where we work.
That's such a long name.
Well, why change what works, right?
It said
add the names.
Yeah.
It said
Facebook doesn't do that. They just buy Instagram and leave it as Instagram.
Right. Well, they want to trick people into still. They want because they want people who hate Facebook to sign up for Instagram, thinking that they're going like fuck Facebook. Yeah.
That's right.
But so in 2014, Deezer bought Stitcher.
Yeah.
And then Deezer sold Stitcher to Scripps for $4.5 million. And it looks like they're saying Scripps is now, after 4 years, going to sell Stitcher to us for $300 million. So their profit is $295.5 million, which I feel like if I was doing that negotiation, I'd probably try to talk them down because I'm like, come on, man. You only paid $4.5 million. You don't need that much money. Come on, man. We'll give you 10. That's double. You know, I probably would have tried to do it like that. And I would just ask over and over again until finally they're like, all right, you know, that's double. That would have been my negotiation tact.
It may have worked. I mean, it's not a terrible idea.
I think so. Looks like we have our guest lined up to join the show in this world of Zoom calls and virtual guests. We've got our pal, who is one of the hosts of Cannonball, which premieres Thursday at 8 p.m. on USA, although there was a special preview last night after Monday Night Raw on USA. I saw him for a second.
He disappeared.
And then he disappeared.
He hung up. He was disgusted with your introduction.
You think that's what it was? He just looked for a second, and he heard my voice and saw me talking. He was like, I'm not doing this again.
He's like, what am I doing?
I'm not doing this again. Do I hear him? Do I hear the Miz?
I might. It is funny.
I thought I heard him too. Oh,
there we go.
Oh, I heard the Miz for a second again.
Yeah.
What up? I'm there.
There he is.
You got me.
You're crooked.
Welcome.
Can you turn it the other side? You're sideways.
I'm sideways.
Not,
you got
yeah,
it.
we're not seeing you straight. We're seeing you like.
Well,
welcome to Zoom, right?
I know. Well, there he is. Look with the cannonball in the background. This is so professional.
Yeah.
It's like
By
you're
the way,
on a...
I set this all up. These are my kids' toys.
Really?
These are my kids' toys. This is a logo off of a computer on my TV screen. I bought these LED blue lights. I don't know if you can see them, but they're shining up against the white wall. I'm giving you guys the whole thing. I've got a light over here and over here that is just lighting me up. I haven't really gotten the light. Let's make it a little brighter for you. Look at that. Look how good this looks. I dressed up for you. I'm in a suit.
Wow. USA should be paying you a ton of money because, I mean, you've literally set up a press junket for them in your house. It doesn't say The Miz everywhere. It says Cannonball USA everywhere. And you got like all the pool toys around. So it's like we're in the water.
This is wow. I don't know. I look at it and I go, anything I put my name on, anything that I'm involved with, I always go all out 100%, whether it's WWE, Miz and Mrs., or my new show, Cannonball.
Now wait, does the LED lights, do they change colors? Are they like
yeah,
are they
watch this. Are you ready? So if we wanted a little warmer in here, I can make it warmer. I can have a nice tan. Or we can go, I like it a little bit, in a more it's more like clear, more white, I guess you could say. So you can either go yellow or white.
With a tinge of purple. That's nice.
You have this whole setup.
The LEDs, by the way, the LEDs, I can make any color you want. I got every single color you could possibly imagine. I chose blue because it's water, cannonballs, water sports, competition. So,
is that blue? It looks purplish. It's actually a nice color. It looks purplish. Yeah, it looks purple, but it's nice. It's very colorful and warm, like you said.
This is also very smart because this way, like I feel like you're putting into the universe. Hey, look, we're promoting Cannonball today. But the Miz Home Press Junket Studio is ready to change color. You want me on Floor is Lava? We'll be red. You want me anything? I can host whatever you need me to host, and we'll change the color. We'll change the logo. We're good to go. We'll get some new. We'll get some new toys for the kids.
I've got this thing set up. If I need WWE press, put a WWE logo right here. Put a couple titles in this realm. I'm ready to go. You want Miz and Mrs. Put myself and Maurice right here. Maybe put Monroe. Just hoist her up. I got everything.
So you're fine if this thing never ends. If we're all stuck at home forever, you're like, that's fine. I'll be stuck at home forever. I'll just do it from here.
I will make a studio. The only thing I don't like about this setup is there's no depth. And whenever you want a good, solid setup for a good background, you want a lot of depth behind you. But I can't do that because I'm using an iPhone that doesn't have a kind of a zoom lens.
Now, how about a green screen? No green screen?
There's no, I don't have a green screen, no, but I could probably get one really easy. But I don't think I want a green screen. It'd make me feel like I'm just on a Zoom call,
Right.
Yeah, they do help sometimes. Right. I don't use one, but I mean, they do at times help people. There are people who are popular.
Yeah. Jim is sitting in front of a black and white Hollywood Land sign right now. That's not a green screen at all.
No, it's a sign that I've purchased.
When you wake up this early in the morning, do you just go straight to your microphone and just go? Or do you shower, have some breakfast, get some coffee? This is the first time I've been up before my daughters. And it was kind of relaxing. I was like, oh wow, it wasn't panic mode where I'm getting the one out of the crib, then running to the other one, getting the other one, and then kind of playing with them and just in my PJs. I was like, oh, I could take a shower, I could get all nice, dressed up, and ready to go.
What part of the country are you in? Are you on the East Coast or West Coast?
West Coast.
Oh, so it's really early for you. I get up the first
I do this for you guys.
Thank you.
They said, hey, will you wake up early in the morning? I go, for who? They said, Jim and Sam. I said, yes, of course.
Did you ensure that we would both be there? Because a lot of times Jim flakes out, or sometimes I go, we're a little busy.
Well, to be honest, I was hoping you weren't there and Jim was, because normally it's the other way around.
That's how I feel when I wake up.
I could only imagine.
No, I don't eat before. I usually just brush my teeth, and then afterwards I'll go work out for a little while. I usually eat after I work out.
Look at you working out. What's your workout regimen these days?
Obviously not effective enough because I'm getting fat again. I can't stop fucking shoving pretzels into my face. I usually do lately because there's no walking anymore. I just do usually 30 to 35 minutes of some kind of weights, and then I walk for the next half hour just to get myself some type of activity, because it's just being in the house all day sucks. It drives you crazy.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I mean, lately I've been just working out. I have my home gym, so that's how I'm getting my workouts in. Obviously, carrying a 2-year-old and an 8-month-old all day long, all day every day is another whole workout in itself.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you keep the dad weight off though? Because now, especially because the 2-year-old is when you start to get the snacks in the house. And
so I went gluten-free and dairy-free. And so once I went gluten and dairy-free, I feel like I don't really eat the bad foods anymore. So I think that's where it kind of got me. So no longer am I eating any kind of wheat products or anything like that. Bread's gone away. And I really don't miss them at all. And I know what it sounds like. It's I'm so LA. I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free. But in all honesty, I've been healthier. I feel like my body isn't as inflamed, and I know you're thinking what the hell, Miz? inflamed, gluten-free, dairy-free. What are we talking about here? But it just my body feels better. Like my joints feel like there's like fluid actually in them, and they can move around easily. I'm not in pain or hurting, and I don't even know if it's the gluten-free and dairy-free or if it's that I'm wrestling a lot less than I used to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it is that you don't have to just figure out how you can get your face to look like you're in shape when you're wearing a suit. Like when you're not wearing a suit, you still have to get down in your underpants and wrestle.
Yeah.
And so you have to maintain at this point.
Yeah, you always are thinking, all right, just because I wear sweatpants throughout the week doesn't mean that I'm not going to do a show on Friday, for Fox, and I'm going to be in a Speedo, half naked, on national television, wrestling, and I have to worry about that. Like, I just got to keep my shape up. And plus, to be honest, like, I've noticed since we've been wrestling a lot less, I've been noticing my air. So I've been doing a lot more cardio on just literally running. I have a Peloton, and it's like a tread, and I love it. Like I run all the time, and I never ran this way before. Usually my running on a treadmill was just like, I'll go like 30 minutes and I'll just be at the same pace the entire time. Now I'm going up, I'm sprinting, I'm going down, I'm walking, then I'm jogging, then I'm sprinting, and I'm going all these different, avenues of just speeds. And it's helped out a lot in the ring, because that's exactly what we do in the ring. Like, we go sprint, and then, we hit a move, and you kind of lay there for a second to, feel the repercussions of the move. And so the audience feels it as well. So it's kind of the same thing.
How did you wind up getting a show done during the pandemic? Because it seems like so much shooting has stopped.
This has been done since October. To be honest. Yeah, I mean, we did this show way back in October, and I'm still doing voiceovers for it. The production company that does this show really put forth an effort, and they want perfection, and I like it that way. So Roxy Diaz from 106 and Park, she and I are basically the co-hosts, and we're there in like a control booth where we get to watch live everything happen. And then, we do our intros, our outros, all that good stuff, telling you how the game goes. And then they take it, and they had about almost a year to edit the whole thing. And now we're doing voiceovers, making it funnier, putting different elements into it. I mean, this show is so much fun. It's for the entire family, and it's an effortless watch. It's one of those shows that you can literally watch with the volume off if you wanted, and you still be entertained. However, you don't want to do that because you would lose this voice.
Yeah, what exactly is the show? What are you doing on it?
The show, I'm the host, and so I am just guiding you through just all these water sports competitions. We have a 100-foot mega slide that's 10 stories high, and people go down it. And some of the competitions are like a hurdle jump. They go off of a launch. They are going about 80 miles an hour, about 60 feet in the air, and the object is to go as far as they possibly can without hitting a hurdle. Whoever gets the furthest makes it to the next round. It starts with 12 competitors, and we'll end up with one winner at the end. Other ones are called the human dart. There is a bullseye about 60 feet in the air. Once you launch off that mega slide, you're going about 60 miles an hour, and it's exactly what it says, a human dart. You're the dart. You got to hit the bullseye with any part of your body. And these people try to find so many ways to hit that bullseye with a body part. It's very entertaining. It's a lot of fun. Some of the hits you'll go, oh, yeah. And then you'll also have some heartfelt moments where people are scared of heights. Like, to be honest, I'm not really scared of heights, but once you get me up 100 feet tall and 10 stories high, and you're going to be going 60 miles an hour into a target, you get kind of scared. And so it freaks people out. But to watch people go into their fears and step into their fears, and then in the end actually do it and succeed in doing it, there's nothing cooler to watch.
Are there moments, because like in wrestling, I feel like there's as a fan you watch and you think certain things hurt. But then when you watch wrestlers watch matches, they react completely differently because you guys know what actually hurts. You guys know, so there's this thing that might look like nothing to me that if you're watching that, you're like, oh my God. When you watch Cannonball and you watch, first of all, it's got to be great to watch other people take bumps and you just get to talk about it. But when you watch them hit, are there moments where you're like, I know that hurt a lot more
100%.
than it looks like?
I mean, you look at some of the things and you go, oh, man. And luckily, everyone was pretty safe in there. But, I mean, you could just see some hits and bumps, and you're like, oh, man. That looked like it didn't feel like it was pretty. I mean, a lot of belly flops happening on Cannonball, let me tell you.
What's something in that you've seen in the ring that people might not register is as painful as you know it is? Like, is there something
chops hurt? Every time we fall on the mat, I mean, I woke up. I have a match, and I'll wake up the next day, and my neck will be sore, my back will be sore. I'll find a bruise on my body I didn't know I even had. We literally go through it, and even though I feel like I'm like 15 years in the game, I still get bumps and bruises, soreness all the time. And but there's nothing I'd rather do. Like, I enjoy being a WWE superstar. I enjoy entertaining an audience. And honestly, in this day and age, I feel like that's what people need. People want to laugh. People want to almost escape their reality and enter ours. And that's something you can do here on this show, Cannonball. You can just, escape your reality and kind of just laugh and enjoy something with your entire family.
That is nice. It's a diversion from what's been going on. Which is why our show is, Sam and I are so stupid. We changed our show to Corona Riots, and nobody wanted to tune in.
Yeah, that's the name of the show. What has taken the most getting used to? Is it wrestling in front of no people, or is it that schedule that you talked about, where, especially because there are times like there's a show only once a week now, but even when there's a show once a week, you might not be on that show, or you might do a talk show segment. So you could
Come
go
on,
3 weeks.
Sam, you really think I'm not going to be on that show? I am SmackDown. John Morrison and myself are the talk of SmackDown on Fox every Friday. So every Friday, WWE is going to be making the call to good old Miz, because they need me to do something, whether it's a Miz TV, a dirt sheet, or wrestling at the top level that I wrestle at. So I'm always on call. But the thing is, like wrestling in front of, I don't know, not many fans, like that is the weirdest part. Like that's what I miss most about this whole thing that is going on, because there is nothing like hearing 10,000 people boo you or cheer you. And I love it. There's nothing better than it.
Your background went dead for a second. Your background behind you.
I know.
My MacBook.
I gotta watch this.
You gotta fix this.
Screensaver.
There it is. Boom. Back. It's back. Just like that.
I didn't set the screensaver up. I did that wrong.
Because you have it probably set for 15 minutes. It goes into sleep mode.
To be honest, I thought I set it up for never. Like, don't ever go. And so I'm a little upset about it, and I'm gonna have to work on that when we're done with this.
No problem.
That shows you how different our lives are. I have mine set on go to screensaver the second I'm not in front of my computer, because the last thing I need to do is be dating somebody and have them walk in and see what I'm looking at. So I like my screensaver to come on very quickly. You obviously lead a more honest and healthy life.
I try.
Where do you? So you did Ms. and Mrs. You brought your family reality show and everything. Where do you think? I feel like wrestling and kayfabe and everything, like people kind of know what pro wrestling is now, right? It's been 30 years that people know what they're watching and why they're watching, right? Do you feel like we're at that point with reality TV? Do you think that reality TV is still trying to kind of put up this thing where it's like, no, we're just turning the cameras on and this is what you see?
I've never said my show is like that. I've always said our show is very real. Like the things that we go through on the show, you watch it and you see it, and that's exactly it. But to sit there and say I flick a camera on and just go out there and do it is not the way we shoot our show. We are there to entertain an audience, show you the characters that I live with each and every day. Characters like my dad, George Mizanin. He is a Mizanin, not a Ms. Zanin, because he likes to be the only Mizanin even though we all spell it the same way, he says it differently. Then you have Marjo, who's my mother-in-law, Maurice's mom. Drives me absolutely crazy. Like, she is one day the nicest person in the world, and the next day gets on my nerves. And then you have my mom, who won't stop cleaning. And that sounds like amazing, Jim. I know you're thinking like, oh my God, you have someone that loves cleaning. But when you set down a coffee and you go to pick it back up and it's already gone and you wanted to drink it, it gets a little annoying. And then you have, a 2-year-old in Monroe, an 8-month-old in Madison. You have my beautiful wife. And you put all those collection of characters together. And by the way, in one house, yes, they all live here. Like, my dad is retired now, and he flies in unexpected all the time. And I'm like, Dad, you can't come here and just come. Like, you got to tell me. You got to warn me. Like, I woke up the other day. I walked outside, and there's my dad in a Speedo. And I'm like, Dad, you can't just – you just can't come to the house. And boy, you got a great pool. I didn't want to interrupt anyone. So I came here, and I'm laying out in the sun. And I'm like, you know what? Do your thing. All right. Do your thing. So the things that go on the camera, like that's my life. Like, you are watching things that happen on my life all the time. Do we flick the camera on and just turn it on? No. We kind of know what we're doing, when we're doing it, how we're doing it. But what you see is really real. Like, we put our real life situations onto a show, and we try to make it as entertaining as possible. Because let's face it, if anyone, like, the realest I've ever seen with reality shows was The Real World. But we used to shoot that. I think it took like 5 months to shoot a season of The Real World, where I'd be stuck in a house with 7 strangers, and we would be filmed 24/7 nonstop, and they would just build stories to it. And, there's obviously a lot of editing. You're not watching it live. And so, stories, they would have to make something out of something. So people would want to watch and tune in each and every week. And my show, we go less for the drama and more for the comedy, because our families really, our dynamic is laughter. It's fun. It's funny. And that's kind of what we went for. And we've been really happy with, USA, along with Buna Murray, who produces the show, along with WWE. We've been having a blast with it. We have a say in everything that goes on in that show. So I have, and Maurice has, we feel like we've made a show that we are proud of, that each and every week it comes out there and people get to watch it. We are proud to put it out there on television. And, people have said, I see through social media or just coming up to us, that people love the show. And it makes you feel good, because having, being a WWE superstar, then also having your own reality show that's successful. It's very hard these days to get a show on TV, let alone a successful television show.
How has your dad dealt with being a celebrity? I mean, your dad, not only has he become a celebrity from the show, last year at WrestleMania, your dad had a spot in which he put up his fist like he was going to fight somebody. And it looked so ridiculous that not only did it become a meme, it became a T-shirt. So he's got now all this fame. Has it gone to his head? Has he taken it in stride?
Do you know how that T-shirt came about? That wasn't just him or WWE saying like, hey, George needs a T-shirt. My dad went out and made his own T-shirts, and they were so cheap and flimsy, and he was selling these things. And I was like, Dad, you can't do that. He goes, why can't I? I can do whatever I want. It's my face, it's my shirt, and I'm selling it. He like made underwear, all this stuff, because he wanted to make it a little extra coin. I'm like, Dad, please stop doing that. And he's like, no, I'm doing whatever I want. So I went to WWE and said, look, can we please just get him a shirt so he stops selling people these bootleg, terrible, like they were like falling apart. He would iron them on and sell them to people, and they would fall apart. And that looks bad on everyone. So I had WWE make him a shirt so he would stop selling bootleg shirts. And let me tell you something. When that happened and my dad went viral and was like the most talked about person at WrestleMania, that was hell for me, because I just went through an hour match, suplex Shane McMahon off a 20-foot scaffold, and all people could talk about is my dad's freaking pose in a ring. And then the next day my dad's like, you should start listening to me more. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you've been wrestling for 15 years. I was in the ring for 15 minutes. Have you ever went viral like that? I didn't think so. And I'm like, oh my God. So now every Friday night he's calling me going, Mike, you should be doing this. I'm like, Dad, you've been in the ring once in your life. And it was because of me. Well, yeah, but I made something of it. I'm like, stardom has gone to my dad's head and to Marjot's head. Big time.
Really?
Yes. 100%.
Oh, I love it. I love that he's giving you advice too, because you're right. Because you're in this match where you're literally tearing your body apart across. It was in MetLife, right? It was a MetLife Stadium. You're all over the stadium. You're doing things that no human should be able to do. You and Shane, and then you wake up. I mean, you talk about waking up with bruises and stuff. You wake up completely beaten up. And your dad is sitting there because of his pose going like, hey, we did great last night, didn't we, Mikey? We did,
exactly,
we did great.
Exactly. We did great. No, I did great, Dad. It's so sweet. And by the way, my dad never compliments me, never says I have a good match. No, he always compliments everybody else. Man, that Shane McMahon is something else, isn't he? Man, he looks great. I'm like, thanks, Dad. I'm going up against him. Yeah. But boy, that Kofi Kingston, did you see that match? Boy, I'm like, Dad, can I get something? Can I get a compliment? I've been in this business for 15 years. I feel like I'm pretty much at the top of my game. I'm one of the best, I think. Yeah. And he's like, no, you're not. What do you mean, Dad? What do you mean? You're not one of the best. Are you kidding me? Like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, those are the AJ Styles. Those are the best, Mike. Do you see AJ Styles? Do you see what he can do in the ring? Yes, Dad. And so, like, if I don't go off the top rope, my dad tells me about it every single day. He's like, you see AJ, he does that thing off the top rope. Oh man, he gives an elbow. It's incredible. You should start doing stuff like that. I'm like, that's AJ's move, Dad. I'm not doing AJ's move. It's an argument for like 3, and he doesn't understand, and he will never understand. And these are just some of the things I have to deal with on a daily basis that you get to see on Ms. and Mrs. So is that real? 100%. My dad and I's dynamic is 100% real. The dynamics between myself and Marjot, Maurice and her mom, Maurice and my mom, Maurice and my dad, those are all real. Let me tell you.
Fox ranked your talking. They did like a tweet ranking like the top. I think they put it in like the top 9 promos ever, and they said you can pick 3. But your Talking Smack promo was one of the promos. They had like they had the CM Punk pipe bomb, they had the Mark Henry retirement speech, they had Macho Man Cream of the. I mean, come on, Talking Smack. It's my favorite thing ever.
Of course, yeah, sure you did. It's funny. I saw that, and I don't think I saw John Cena on that. And it's interesting to me because I feel like John Cena is one of the best promos. And the problem that I think John Cena has with that is that there's not just one promo. All of his promos are good. So you can't just pick. There isn't that one that you're like, wow, that was the one. They're all so amazing that you literally can't just pick one. So when I saw that list, I'm always surprised. And whenever I see any list about the best talkers in the business, you honestly usually don't see John Cena on it. And I've always tried to figure out why. And I think the reason is because all of his promos are always so good that you can't just pick one.
Do you show your dad something like that and go like, look at this moment that I had that resonated on the level that years later people are talking
Normally,
about that?
He sees it before me, and he tells me, yeah, you're top 9, but nobody's really talking about your promo. Everyone's talking about, this Dusty Rhodes fella. He doesn't even know who Dusty Rhodes is. He's like, yeah, who's Dusty Rhodes? I want to see this promo. And then I show him the promo, and he's like, now that's a promo, Mike. I go, I know. It's legendary, Dad.
Hard times. I mean, come on, Jim, even hard times.
Hard times. Yeah, I remember that. I do.
Well, look, guys, Cannonball is coming on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern over on the USA Network. And, I was talking to Jim before the break. I love these shows where you could just sit there and they figure out a way that people can fall down safely, and that way you could just watch them fall down for hours and hours and hours and hours, which is what's great about Cannonball. It's in the water, people falling down. The Miz is sitting there yelling about it. I mean, I don't see how this isn't a hit already. Honestly, I think it will be on Thursday.
They actually had a sneak preview on NBC, and it did really good numbers. Like, I was expecting, I was hoping, I guess you could say, with every show, you never know what's going to hit and what's going to miss. But, they put it on NBC as a sneak peek, and, man, it did fantastic numbers, and just the reactions towards it, and everyone that's seen it has absolutely loved it. And it's funny. It has brought out talents I didn't even know I had out of here. Like, I was singing, I was doing it. Like, obviously, when you're doing, for instance, when you're doing a show, like a radio show, you have to develop things that you didn't even know you had because you got time to fill. And so I would literally we'd be doing 12 contestants, all these random people. There was a country singer. I started singing a country song. And the best compliment I think I've ever gotten in my life was I sang a country song, right? And I made it up right on the spot. And 8 months later, the producer texted me and goes, "Hey, we're trying to clear some stuff. Where did you get that country song from?" And I went, "What do you mean? Who did you take it from someone? Because we're trying to clear the music." And I went, wait, that was just me going off the top of my head. So my producer thought that it was a real song made up by a real country singer and written by a real country singer. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, maybe I have a career. Maybe I have a future in songwriting, because that one was just off the top of the dome.
Or country music is just real easy.
Talents I didn't know I had, Sam. WWE never taught me that I could be a country singer, but Cannonball sure as hell did.
Well, that's great. That's great. And Jim does bring up a good point. It is possible that writing country songs, could just be super easy. Yeah.
That is true, but when you trick your producer into believing that it's someone else's, that's a pretty good compliment.
It is a good compliment, and everybody should compliment Miz by watching his show Thursday, 8 p.m. USA Cannonball. It's always a pleasure, man.
Good talking to you, buddy.
Always a pleasure. I can't wait to see you guys once this is all done. Come to the studio and hang out, but who knows when that's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Hopefully this year.
I imagine you guys do you guys enjoy being I imagine you're at home, correct? And you guys just get to wake up and do the show rather than having to go to a studio? Or do you like the venture to Sirius XM and going in there and doing it all?
Both. I like being home because I'm lazy and it's comfortable. And I also kind of miss seeing everybody in the hall. Both. I could do this for a while, though. Because, again, you're just waking up, coming out, and working. So it's kind of great. But I miss seeing people.
Yeah, I love it at home. Yeah. I built a studio when we moved into this house. And so I've just been using the studio that I built anyway. And I'm prepared to never leave.
Money well spent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amen. I
mean, look at this studio here. I mean,
it's gorgeous.
I'm ready to go. I'm good.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's perfect.
Gorgeous.
Thank you, Miz. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Be well.
All right. And that's
going to LED lights. I'm going to get. That's what I need.
Well, I got them here. That's what it's.
Those are nice. Yeah. Well, are they
this
like
white thing behind me?
Are those fluorescent? Is that how they look? Or are they?
Well, so these behind me are big circle LED lights that are actually drilled into the ceiling. But can you see the light coming from the TV? Can you see it's kind of backlit?
Yeah.
There's you could get strips. I actually have a strip over there. You can get a strip of light that's got an adhesive on it. Yeah. So you could do it that way. You can also get a thin kind of rod that you could put. That's very good. That you could put on you could put it on the floor. You could put it low, and that way you can uplight stuff.
Ah, I'm gonna buy them.
There's a million things. I got one of those remotes. I got one of those remotes around here to change the colors too.
That's what I'm gonna get.
The ones that the Miz has, we just bought those for my daughter. They're incredible.
What's your daughter? Just for her room?
Yeah, she just wanted LED lights for her room. So we went on Amazon and we saw that this one has a remote and you can change the colors on an app and stuff. They're awesome. Can
I tell you something? That's dope as hell. I wish I had LED lights when I was a kid. That's fucking awesome.
She's got the best room.
That's like a club. That's goddamn club theft in there.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
All right,
guys.
Look, this was fun, and I guess we're back tomorrow.
Wow.